All right, hello, good morning. Sorry about that. Sorry, hello. Hi, everybody. Brock and Salk Show, CL Sports, 710, CLSports.com, and the Seattle Sports application. It's a formal Friday. Kind of feels like a Monday. Not going to lie. Today kind of feels like a Monday, right? You had something crazy happen. It feels like yesterday was almost like a weekend, like you feel coming in after a Seahawks game or something on a Sunday, and you got so much to talk about, and everything is all just one game, and that was all you've seen. So, yeah, kind of a Monday vibe, even though it's a Friday. I'm sure that by the end of the show.
Furious if we skipped our sleep-in days.
Oh, I know. No, don't worry about that. But there is, yeah, there's going to be some sleeping. But it was, I'm sure by the end of the show, it'll feel very Friday-like. Celebratory, though. What a night last night. Anybody not have a great time last night? That was fun. Great to be there. Kudos to the Mariners. And then just, again, we'll spend most of our morning talking about the game and all of that. And there's a ton in there to talk about. Positives, negatives, everything in between. But the Mariners do a really nice job with big days. And yesterday was no exception. It's just nice down there. Lines, at least that I saw, were not insane, although I will say I got there kind of early, so I didn't get to see. Maybe you guys had problems outside. Everything I saw yesterday was working pretty smoothly. And then, I was there with Avery, my older daughter. And met all sorts of nice people around the ballpark. Jonathan, who we were standing in line with so that Avery could get some sushi, which she loved, and the line wasn't terrible. And the sushi looked good. We saw the sushi. I guess I did. You missed the sushi, but I had some of the sushi at the big event a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I would have had some. I missed that one.
Well, and it was good, really good. And I'm like, all right, that's good, but what, you're going to be able to make enough sushi for, what was it last night, 40,000 people, and it's going to look, it was great. It looked awesome. So kudos to them. That was definitely a nice little part of yesterday, and all of the opening ceremonies were great. We'll go through them a little bit in Need to Know, but it was just it was a really nice night at the park. The fans going crazy for Cal Raleigh. Cal had the biggest ovation of the night, and I'm not even sure it was all that close, right? We talked about whether or not that would be the case. Being introduced, especially right after Julio. And look, the Julio ovation was huge. The Cal one was just even bigger, right? Did you guys hear the same thing? I'm not crazy on that, right? When they were just introducing each guy.
Accurate.
Man, I thought the ovation for Cal was really, really nice. So just a cool night at the ballpark. Start with that. Then you get to the game. And you got a little bit of everything that makes this Mariner team unique in that game. First of all, you got the starting pitching. I know we're going to talk about, sort of the fireworks at the end. And yes, I'll answer a lot of the texts that came in here about Randy and Polanco and Thornton and a whole bunch of other stuff. But start off with Logan Gilbert. That's why the Mariners are a contender. That's why. Right? Doesn't matter what else happened in the offseason. Doesn't matter. All that other stuff. While important, is not the foundation. That's the fixtures, right? That's all the finishings. The foundation is the pitching. And when you see Logan just completely dominate the A's like he did last night, he was dominant. I know he gave up the home run. Other than that, he was barely even in trouble all night. He finished that game. I have this in Need to Know. Hold on. Let me just look. I wrote it down. I want to make sure I get the numbers right. As good as Logan was through 7 innings last night on opening day, 8 strikeouts, 2 hits, no walks, he only threw 83 pitches. It wasn't like 8 strikeouts, generally strikeouts take a bunch of pitches, right? If you want to get deep into a game, throw a whole bunch of ground balls. No, he still managed to strike out 8 over 7 innings. But he does it while only throwing 83 pitches. He wasn't in any trouble. All he did was give up, unfortunately, a big solo home run. So that was just a complete dominant performance from Logan Gilbert. And that was awesome. As for the hitting, it's funny. We're going to talk about approach over the course of the day. And we're going to talk about philosophy and style because you got to see kind of a little bit of everything. What was interesting to me is that for all of the conversations we had, and I know there weren't as many strikeouts, they only had 7 strikeouts yesterday. What kind of won them the game was the old philosophy. Bunch of walks, right? They took 7 walks in the game. Yeah, you'll take that every day of the week. And a bunch of home runs. That's the same. Remember all the times we were talking about the strikeout issues, and I would say, look, it's not about the strikeouts. It's about the walks and the home runs. You got to walk and hit home runs in order to make the strikeouts worth it. Well, they didn't strike out as much yesterday, which was nice. But what wins you the game? Walks and home runs, man. You gotta take your walks in Major League Baseball. You have to. You have to be patient at the plate. And then you got to hit your home runs when you have the opportunity to do so. And the Polanco home run was great. Certainly, we will talk more about that and his big day. But it was not the highlight for me personally, as you might imagine. It was this.
Again, the 0-2 on the way to Randy. Swinging a well-hit ball deep to left field. This game is tied. Goodbye, baseball. Off the facing of the upper deck and in the upper deck in left field. And that was a bullet to left. Randy Arozarena with his first home run of the season. And this game is tied at 2. Holy smokes, what a shot by Randy.
It wasn't just a shot, man. The shot was a huge part of it. I mean, it was great. I mean, he uncorked. He destroyed that baseball. He got 100% every bit of his listed at 185 pounds. I think he's bigger than that, just my guess. He got every bit of that into that ball. But the reaction afterwards, you kidding me?
The bat spike.
I mean, in game 1, not even a game-winning home run. Man, do I love that energy from Randy Arozarena. I mean, look, unabashed Randy fan, as I've told you guys many times. Unabashed fan of Randy Arozarena's. Love the way he plays the game. I just love his cool factor, man. But I see this text that came in right before the show started today from 360. I'll read it to you. I see the Randy home run spike of the bat as a statement, not this year. This isn't last year's team or the year before that's team or any other. I see that as a message of things to come this year. Colby. I don't know whether it's that or not. To me, it's probably more just how Randy Arozarena plays the game of baseball. It started the moment he was introduced to the fans. Right? If you were watching if you were there last night, you got a chance to see it. You know, they call in, everybody on the team gets introduced on opening day, including the clubbies and the trainer. Like, everybody gets their introduction. And, you know, for some people, it's a little polite applause, right? And all that. And then you go through all the guys that aren't starting that day. And what are you saying, Lyle? You all right?
Say that one more time.
I said everybody gets their polite applause, right? Yeah. And then you get to some guys, and it's you know, Mitch Garver gets a nice cheer, which was nice to see for him, and you know, you're kind of going through it, and then Victor Robles got a nice cheer. Julio obviously comes out with the trident up, which was great, and Cal got his enormous ovation as he was in the bullpen, and then you get to Randy, and Randy's like losing his mind. He was as into being introduced and running down the red carpet or magenta carpet, whatever it was, as anybody.
Yeah, he kind of did that soccer style, you know, it wasn't his classic, like, crossing of the arms. It was almost like he threw his arms diagonally.
Yes.
It was really fun.
I loved it, right?
He jumped into the air while doing it, all that.
It just made it seem like, yeah, it was almost more like a, like the LOB or something like that when those guys would come out of the tunnel, which isn't something you generally get in baseball because it's rare to have everybody introduced. So to see Randy take advantage of that moment, maybe he's done that for years in Tampa. I don't know. But I thought that was like, it started there with Randy and then just kind of continued throughout the game until he hits that home run. And you got to go through all of it, right? The home run is smoked. I mean, absolutely smoked to left field, no doubt about it. Before it's even out of the infield, Randy has already turned to the bench, to the dugout. He spikes his bat as hard as he can. He gets everybody. He's given the fans the, like, let's go, like the opposite of the quarterback thing, like an NFL defense trying to get the crowd hyped for a big third or fourth down. He gets to third, stops, and does a jump shot to the third base coach. What? That was awesome. I loved it. Touches third, comes home, celebrates with his teammates, gets the trident. I love the whole Randy Arozarena package. I do. I love it. And you got to see it yesterday. I know the day is about Logan. I know the day is about Jorge Polanco, and we're gonna spend some time on both those guys. I promise. I'm not trying to leave anybody out. But the energy that Randy brings, the vibes that he brings, all of that, to me, is why you went out and got him. He's a good player. There are better players in Major League Baseball than Randy Arozarena. But when he's on, this is why he was, to me, the number 2 most intriguing Mariner behind Julio. When he's on, not only is he such a complete offensive package with the speed and the size and the home runs and the power and the get on base. Like, Randy does a lot of different things really well on a baseball field. But the biggest thing he does is he brings juice. Go back and rewatch him, or just remember him in the World Series against the Dodgers. It felt at times like it was Randy Arozarena against the Dodgers. He was like the only person on that Rays team because he just had so much freaking energy and juice. The Mariners have needed that. This town needs that. We don't have enough stars in town. Randy can be one. He was in Tampa. Remember Rick talking yesterday about, the few people, Felix and like the people who've had sections for them, Julio? Randy had one of those in Tampa. It was Randy Land. And after he got traded, he went out and sat there with the fans on his last night just for fun. This guy connects when he wants to, when he's happy, when he's engaged. And I think you got to see all of that last night. I thought it was an incredible night for him, but everybody else as well. All right. We'll come right back. We'll give you guys everything you need to know. Play the Polanco home run and some thoughts from Dan and everything else. It's coming up next on Brock and Salk.
The John Schneider Show.
Every Thursday until draft day on Wyman and Bob.
We are now speaking with the architect of your Seattle Seahawks.
How we doing, football fans?
With Seahawks President of Football Operations and General Manager John Schneider.
My job is to do what's best for the Seattle Seahawks organization. I have to keep wrapping my mind around that and trying to communicate effectively.
Listen live Thursdays at 4 p.m. or watch the interviews on the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
What's the standard the Seahawks defense needs to be held to under Mike McDonald?
The John Schneider Show.
Brought to you by Pizza Hut.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Go from daydreamer to industry leader with Amazon Business. From office supplies to IT essentials, Amazon Business provides tools that help you save costs and make insight-based decisions. Learn how to bring your visions to life at AmazonBusiness.com.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go. Shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit NoTimeToWait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Did you know colon cancer can be detected early or prevented through regular screening?
I have detected Around Earth is the greatest lie ever.
Okay, Roger. My uncle just passed away and I inherited his cockatoo, Roger. He was a member of the Flat Earth Society, so Roger picked up on some of his rhetoric. Anyway, screening, such as a colonoscopy.
Screen these! Screen these!
Roger that, Roger. Moving on. Colonoscopies can detect early-stage colon or rectal cancer or even polyps, which are abnormal growths that can turn into cancer over time.
I'm a Flat Earth walker.
Come on, Roger. What did I do to my uncle to deserve you? You don't get to choose what you inherit, just like colon cancer. Unlike Roger here, I believe in science. And science says that if colon cancer runs in your family, you're more likely to develop it yourself. Talk to your doctor about when you should start screening. Find out more at coloncancercoalition.org. A message from the Colon Cancer Coalition.
Don't waste time trying to get rid of your old or broken car. Cars for Kids is the easiest and fastest way to donate your car and get a tax deduction. Go to carsforkids.org today. That's cars with a K.
Safety comes first. When money is tight, Buc-ee's has you covered with available financing. For oil changes, wiper blades, brakes, tire rotation, tune-ups, and factory maintenance, it's Buc-ee's Complete Auto. No appointment necessary and financing's available. Check Buc-ee's.com for the location near you.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them. But but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go. And that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Heading outdoors or on the water this weekend? Check in with Joey and Nelly on the Outdoor Line from 6 to 8 a.m. every Saturday on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Washington State ranks number 5 in the country for auto theft. The most high-risk vehicles are Kia, Hyundai, Ford F-150, F-250, and F-350. Help keep your car safe with these simple and important tips. Don't leave your car running unattended. Park in well-lit areas. Lock up every time. Keep valuables out of sight. Use an anti-theft device like a steering wheel lock. Share this information with friends and family. Prevent the theft and keep you and your vehicle safe. These tips brought to you by the Washington Auto Theft Prevention Authority.
We know choosing the right team to upgrade your windows and doors is a big decision. That's why we deliver a service that treats your home like ours and offer top quality products. Our windows are up to 25% more energy efficient than Energy Star standards, reduce noise by up to 50%, and have low maintenance clean glass technology. Our industry-leading leak armor installation and lifetime warranties mean peace of mind and enjoyment for life. Lake Washington Windows and Doors, a name you can trust. Visit lakewashingtonwindows.com.
Get ready for an unforgettable adventure at LeMay, America's Car Museum in Tacoma. Marvel at over 300 world-class automobiles and 100 years of history. Don't miss the Shinka exhibit, featuring nearly 50 iconic Japanese sports cars. Feel the thrill of driving a Formula One car on the exhilarating race simulators. There's fun for everyone, so grab your friends or the whole family and plan your visit Thursday to Monday. Learn more at americascarmuseum.org.
March is here, and Toyota of Renton and Toyota of Kirkland have teamed up to take away your car buying madness. At Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota of Renton, they have the widest selection of new and certified used inventory and the largest savings in the region. Now that's a slam dunk. The all-star staff at Toyota of Renton and Kirkland will assist you with a test drive, and you can score that car the very same day. Come see for yourself or visit online at toyotaofrenton.com or toyotaofkirkland.com.
O'Brien.
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Well, just the way we all wrote it up, right? Logan Gilbert, dominant last night for sure. 7 sweet innings. We'll come back to those in a moment. The offense, sluggish early, but Randy Arozarena, home run, brings the energy, ties it up late, and gave them some life. Before the big offseason addition, Jorge Polanco took over.
And the 2-2 to Polanco, swinging a drive deep to straightaway center. Blade going back to the one, he tracked to the wall, leaps up, it's gone. Goodbye, baseball. Jorge Polanco with a 2-run drive unties it. It's the Mariners 4, the A's 2 here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Jorge Polanco's first home run of the season, second for the Mariners, and both coming here in the bottom of the 8th. 3 runs are in. The Mariners lead it 4-2. Holy smokes, what an inning, and what a return for Jorge Polanco. He gets the trident over there by the Mariners' first base dugout.
Yeah, that finished up a 3-hit day for Polanco. You know how many 3-hit games he had all of last year? 3. He had 2 3-hit games and a 4-hit game last year. 3. Does it in game 1. Obviously, the home run is the thing that really is going to stand in your mind because it wins him the game. They finish it out 4-2. Munoz dominant, by the way, in the 9th. He looked phenomenal. Yeah, here is Jorge. You know what he liked? The fans.
It feels great. It feels great. I love it. I love it. They give me a lot of support on that, and I appreciate that.
Well, as he should. For all the talk of the offensive changes, this one kind of looked, as I said, like the old philosophy. 7 walks, 2 home runs, accounting for most of the offense. And let's get back to Logan Gilbert because he was filthy. 7 innings, 8 strikeouts, 2 hits, no walks. He still only threw 83 pitches. That is what an opening day ace looks like. And typical Logan focuses on the team element of it.
It feels good. I mean, first guy, you want to go deep in the game. You want to be, take care of the bullpen as much as you can and try to keep them fresh for the rest of the series. So I'm really happy about that. I always want to go deep in the game and start off on the right foot. And most importantly, I felt like I was attacking hitters and getting ahead. So that's when I feel like I'm doing my job.
Yeah, he was doing all those things. Game 2 tonight, Luis Castillo against the lefty, Jeffrey Springs. So first chance to see whether or not there is a commitment to using the same lineup. Will we see Dylan Moore and Donovan Solano and Mitch Garver in the lineup? Or will they stay with something akin to what we saw last night? I hope we see those 3 guys and some changes, but definitely something I'll be looking for later this afternoon.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
Well, before all of that happened, just a wonderful start to opening day. A couple of really cool moments. The girl from the Make-A-Wish Foundation running the bases, as always, it's such a great moment, and she killed it. She was phenomenal. Man, she paused at all the bases and took it in and waved to the crowd and just soaked it up. She was great. Kudos to her. And then Julio and Bryce Miller, JP, all coming out to meet her at home plate. That was just great. Thunderous ovation, as I mentioned, for Cal Raleigh as he was presented with the Platinum Glove. In fact, I would say he got the loudest ovation of the night when he was introduced. And then you had Ichiro coming out to throw out the first pitch. And what did he do? He fires an 84-mile-an-hour strike to Dan Wilson. Shannon asked Dan about catching it.
It was gasoline, I'll tell you that. I was glad I caught it, but awesome night for that, too.
All right, maybe not quite something out of Star Wars, but still pretty sweet. You think you could gas it up to 84 for one pitch if you had to? No, not even close, right? What do you think if you maxed out one throw, how hard do you think you could throw it? 70?
Maybe 75.
Maybe. Dude, just casually blazing 84? It's unbelievable. Yeah. Elsewhere last night, Astros beat the Mets. Rangers fall to Boston. Angels started Yusei Kikuchi on opening day. That's a real thing. And, he lost 9-1 to the White Sox.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
Apparently the Kraken were just sick of losing to the Oilers, so they finally took out all their frustration in one night. They score 5 times in the second period en route to a 6-1 win. 2 for Jaden Schwartz. Manny Beniers had a goal. Burakovsky, McCann. And I really like this kid, Yanni Newman.
JT, that gives me something to do tonight after the post-game celebration. Larson now. How about that, Yanni Newman? With a stick out in front, flinging at the goal. You never know. 3-0, Kraken.
Yeah, this kid's just, I don't know. Unlike some of the other people they've brought up, he's got a little juice to him when I watch. So looking forward to seeing more of that. NCAA games last night. Arkansas, huge comeback down, 16 points late to Texas Tech. And they come back on a 16-3 run to tie it. And then they lost. Texas Tech wins after all that. How about that? 85-83. I didn't watch any of it. I have no idea what happened. I'm reading what Maura wrote.
Well, I needed Texas Tech to win because I think they might be I think I might have them winning it all. I used the ESPN analytics to just fill out my bracket for me.
So they won even though they were down? Or
yes.
Okay, got it. Duke beats Arizona. I know that. And Cooper Flagg had a big day. Alabama passed BYU. Florida beats Maryland. All right, that's everything you need to know. 1:15 every hour. Here on the Brock and Salk show. Yeah, I was sorry. I was a little focused. I was focused on the baseball last night. Once baseball starts, it's hard for me to focus on much of anything. I didn't get to see the Kraken last night.
I mean, let's not pretend like you were all in on the NCAA tournament before that.
I wasn't. No. I'm really bored by the whole thing. Yeah. The 360 says the Make-A-Wish girl did all 3 of the outfield moves at each base, right? Wasn't it cool? I thought it was great. I thought she was just, it seemed like she'd practiced it. She knew what she was doing. She was ready to go. Great ovation. Cute kid. The whole thing was cool. Yeah, very, very cool. All right, we've got a ton to do today. Brock is going to be in for a little bit. G's going to come by. He's already bragging about being in the cheap seats last night and talking trash to us, Maura, for being in the suite. So we'll see what that's all about at 8:30. Shannon's going to join us, give her perspective. We've got, we got a million things. But before we do it, Manny Acta was just so fun yesterday. I want to make sure you guys hear some of it. We took out all the opening day specific stuff so it doesn't feel dated. But Manny's great, and he offers a sweet perspective on kind of what the team is, what they're going to be, and you should hear it next on Brock and Salk.
Seattle Sports, your home for Bump and Stacy. Weekdays 10 to 2.
Catcher Cal Raleigh and the Seattle Mariners are finalizing a 6-year, $105 million contract extension.
I love it. Take care of the dumper, man. He is the captain of this team, and I'm excited for them, man, because he's one of those guys that when you think about this era of the Mariners, he's one of the first names that's going to pop into your head. I'm just happy for Cal. I'm happy for the Mariners. They did the right thing.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Real Success. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at ourrealsuccess.com.
Do you want to learn how to make money flipping houses and acquiring rental properties right here in Seattle? We're offering a handful of motivated individuals the opportunity to attend our workshop right here in Seattle for free. That's right. We'll give you 2 free tickets when you text FLIP to 64,000. Seattle is the perfect market to flip houses and build rental income. Discover the simple steps developed by Joe Arias, one of real estate's greatest rags to riches stories. You'll learn to flip properties and secure rental properties without using your own money and in your spare time. Don't miss this opportunity. Come to a complimentary live 2-hour workshop next week right here in Seattle and learn how to start making money flipping homes and building long-term wealth with rental properties. To get 2 free tickets, text FLIP to 64,000. Text in the next 10 minutes, and registrants will also receive a free copy of our Funding for Deals guide. Text FLIP to 64,000 for 2 complimentary tickets. Text FLIP to 64,000.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. 2 lines of unlimited for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings compared to Verizon and AT&T. But don't just take our word for it.
It's not just the savings that are great with our T-Mobile plan. There's all this value from all these other things that T-Mobile offers.
T-Mobile has been such a savings for us.
We love it. Switch today and get 2 free 5G phones like the Motorola Edge with Turbo Power charging that gives you power for the day in just 15 minutes. And customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Go to T-Mobile.com/choice55 to learn more. With AutoPay plus taxes and fees, plus $5 per line without AutoPay. Debit or bank account required. 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. Motorola Edge on us with 24 monthly bill credits and new line for well-qualified customers, plus tax and $35 per line connection charge. See details at T-Mobile.com. Motorola Edge requires 68-watt charger. Charger sold separately. Actual performance will vary based on usage and configuration.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, millions of men experience ED, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. At HIMSS, our own board-certified urologist, Dr. Peter Stahl, knows this better than anyone, and he knows that HIMSS can help.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, Senior Vice President of Men's Sexual Health at HIMSS. I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS.
Through HIMSS.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs. Options at up to 95% less than the brand names when you get started at hims.com/joy. To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% less than brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
Today,
a 19-year-old girl was kidnapped. I'm going to bring her home.
Jason Statham is a working man.
Where's the girl? You a cop? You wish I was a cop.
From the director of The Beekeeper.
This is human trafficking.
When you do this, you better go full on.
Is that a grenade?
Yep.
You ain't a cop. You're a working man.
That's right. Time to get to work.
A working man. Rated R. Under 17. Not admitted without parent. Now playing only in theaters.
Subscribe to the Seattle Sports YouTube page to find new and exclusive content from your favorite shows and personalities daily. Just head to YouTube, search Seattle Sports, and click subscribe.
Need a new roof but not in the budget? A new roof doesn't have to break the bank. Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors here. Right now, State Roofing and Exteriors is offering 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. That's 2 years with no payments while getting the protection your home deserves. But this offer won't last forever. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today to get on our summer schedule now. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
March is here, and Toyota of Renton and Toyota of Kirkland have teamed up to take away your car buying madness. At Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota of Renton, they have the widest selection of new and certified used inventory and the largest savings in the region. Now that's a slam dunk. The all-star staff at Toyota of Renton and Kirkland will assist you with a test drive, and you can score that car the very same day. Come see for yourself or visit online at toyotaofrenton.com or toyotaofkirkland.com.
Take your game day experience to the next level with a Mariner Suite. Suites are perfect for birthdays, anniversaries, client meetings, and that company outing you've been trying to plan for months. Enjoy first-class catering, VIP parking, custom setups for 14 to 400 people, and more, all with the help of a dedicated Mariners rep. Suites start at $125 per person, and season ticket members get 15% off. Reserve now at mariners.com/suites.
Munoz strikes out the side, and the ball game is over.
Getting a new battery should be easy. At Pacific Power Batteries, you won't go in with a battery problem and come out with a new transmission. Instead, we can test your battery to see if it's actually the problem. Maybe it's the alternator. We don't sell alternators, so we have no motivation to sell you one or even a new transmission. We have load testers and conductance testers, hydrometers and voltmeters whenever needed. I'm Steve Almond, and I invite you to our family-owned Pacific Power Batteries. You can trust us with any battery problem, and we'll top off the blinker fluid for free.
Brock and Salk's Rewind is presented by Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota of Renton.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Pleased to talk to one of my favorite people inside this Mariner organization, and that is Manny Acta. Now the Mariners bench coach. Manny, you've moved. You're going to be on the bench again this year. How we doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for having me on your show again. And we're excited. I'm happy to be back on the bench just because of, the cold weather at the beginning and not chasing foul balls around third base. But other than that, I'm just part of the staff. I'm like everybody else and happy to contribute.
Loved the pictures from the plane ride home. Those were funny. But how was this spring unique? How was it different from all the others?
Well, it was a great training camp for us. I know that some people probably judge training camps by wins and losses, but the goal is not to win the Cactus League title. And we went over there to prepare our players and get them ready for the season. And I think it is exciting to see what it has turned out with our offense. Since Edgar came over last year at the end, and now they're hiring up Seitzer and Bobby Magallanes, we have turned our offensive approach completely. And I think it's going to be really good. The last month of the season, we did well, and the guys, everybody has bought into it. And instead of complaining about our ballpark, we decided to embrace it and take advantage of it and go for it. And every hitter is different, but the approach that Edgar and Kevin, which were very similar when they were players, it works. I mean, it has worked for 150 years, and we have to realize where we play, and we have to realize the identity of our club, and that's something that we really had worked very hard since the off season. Just who are we, and who are you as a player, and how are we going to get the best out of every single person? And I've seen it. I saw it last month, and I saw it in spring training, and I just hope that we continue doing that. Lower the strikeouts, use the whole field, and just do whatever it takes to win on an everyday basis, because we know what our pitching staff can do. I mean, we were 43-7 at home last year when we scored 3 runs or more. and that's just unbelievable. So we've seen how good we are over the last few years. We've been a game short here and there, but I really like what we did in spring training and the vibe that we have with our players. So it's going to be interesting starting tonight.
Manny, this is the point of the show where I'm going to make Salk a little uncomfortable. It's kind of what we do.
You say the point is one of the points of the show, but sure,
many.
yes, yeah.
But I told Salk earlier, man, I'm a little worried about you, Manny. I'm not going to lie. I'm a little worried for you because baseball is a game of data. You just spit some numbers out, and I did some studying of guys that have gone from third base coach to bench coach, and the average weight gain is 8.2 pounds per season because you're not running the third. You're not going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and getting your steps in and getting your heart rate up and getting your cardio going and burning fat. And, I'm a little concerned that, I just want to put those numbers out there that you got to buck that trend.
I know. Believe me, I have thought about it because, you've taken away 2 times 9 a day, 18 sprints for me.
Yes.
But I have to make that up. I have to now because I have to be at the ballpark earlier and be in more meetings as in the past. Well, then why not take advantage and work out before all the meetings and stuff like that? So that's what I'm planning to do. Plus, I'm planning to eat better and just make up for it.
I'm sure.
I appreciate.
We're all planning to eat better,
my
Manny. Planning to eat better doesn't really mean a whole lot. It's actually eating better that's the hard part.
Exactly.
The planning is easy. It's the doing on that one where it gets hard. Can I take you back? And just because we haven't spoken to you since, but it had to have been an interesting time for you last year. When Scott was fired and Dan came in, you had been with Scott, I think, right from day one here, right? And we've had lots of conversations on the air with you about how Scott had really changed your view on managing and what that would look like after your time doing it in the chair to how you sort of view it now. How was that transition for you to be there as a new manager came in?
Yes, well, everybody knows my relationship with Scott, and you pointed out, I believe Jerry and I are the last survivor of the group who came in 2015, 16. And I would always be thankful. I learned a lot from him, and he was really very good to me. The transition was made easier because of the person coming in. Dan Wilson and I had a very good relationship since I came over here, and it was made very easy because right away Dan approached me and had a good talk with me, and just because of being Dan, the thing kind of was a lot easier for me, and also the familiarity that I have with the front office and the players that are out of here. I would always be thankful to Scott, and I'm really, really thankful also to Dan for keeping me and making me part of his journey.
So then who is Dan Wilson, the manager? What did you get to know of him in the 6 to 8 weeks, whatever it was last year, through this offseason into the spring? Who is the Dan Wilson that now runs the ball club?
Well, Dan obviously knows the game because in order to be a baseball team quarterback, as I always feel the catcher is, for the time that he did it, he knows the game, and also he's a person who he allows people to be themselves, and that's something that our organization takes pride of. We always said that, just be yourself, align with us, with the process that we have here. And he listens to just about everybody. And, everybody knows his personality. But I think that's what made it easier for me because obviously being 9 years in a coaching staff next to a different manager, and then if the guy comes in and it's completely opposite of what you known in the past, it's tough. But Dan is well prepared. Everybody knows that he's a great human being. He treats everybody with respect, and it's just I think the fact that he was here in the organization and knew just about everybody here and was familiar with everybody, he has made everything easier for all of us.
Manny, what does the bench coach role mean for you? What, on a day-to-day basis, how is that different than your previous role?
Well, there's obviously more responsibilities, even when you're not on the field, making decisions, but have to participate in more meetings, being on top of everything, HP meetings, the health and performance department, also participating on the bullpen management meetings, and just being in constant contact with all the players and Dan and also our coaching staff. So there's a lot more responsibility, but they're behind doors, and I'm just very happy to be part of it.
Last thing for me, Manny, and I can't go a full 15-minute interview without asking you about Julio, because he's just so darn important to everything that this team wants to accomplish. Where is Julio at heading into this season from your perspective?
Best I've seen him since I've been here. He was very impressive during spring training on his preparation and his goal setting and everything. And I'm really looking forward to seeing the three outfielders play a full season together, because, what Victor did coming in, and then we got Randy during the trading deadline. Now those three guys together, and especially how Julio worked and was seen in camp. Again, the best I've seen Julio since I've been here, and I think that he's going to have a really, really good season. He worked very hard not to have a slow start. He did everything we asked him to do. He had more at-bats in the spring training. He had been working really close with Edgar since last year. He believes in Edgar. He believes in Sides. And I think he's going to have a terrific season. And it's something that, that we all will benefit from.
Last thing for me, Manny, and I know you'll get this, even more of it in the meetings, into today and into the game tonight, but how do you win this series? How do you kick off? There are a bunch of games at home here to begin this season, and in a division foe that's improved their roster a bit. How do you guys go about winning this opening series with the A's?
Well, it would always go back to the most important thing, pitching. We have our first three horses in line for this series, and that's all you want. You want these guys to give you an opportunity for the first 15, 17 outs of the game, and then see where it takes us, because that's where everything starts and ends. And our pitching, it's our best weapon. Everybody knows it, and that's what we're gonna do. Our offense will take care of the rest. It's a work in progress, but I really like what I saw last month, and I think our offense is going to be better than in the past couple of years. So it's about pitching, and we have it.
Certainly do. Should have it tonight. Logan Gilbert making his first opening day start. You must have been in on those conversations. That had to have been I don't know, was it a hard decision to go with Logan after a couple of years of Luis?
I don't think it was as hard to make the decision, but we thought it was going to be, difficult because of Luis' experience, and he's done it for a few years. But Luis Castillo is an unbelievable and outstanding human being. I mean, Luis was so happy for Logan. He was not bitter at all, and that's what makes our team good, man. We have a lot of good people, and Luis Castillo took the news excellent. He was happy for Logan. He understands the reason behind it, and Logan deserves it, and that's all there is to it. He had a really good season last year and continues to get better. He's a up and coming, star in the game, and we kind of knew that this was the right decision. It was just about communicating it the right way to Louis, like Dan did, and Louis just accepted like a champ, like the type of person he is, just a great human being.
Well, you talk about the great humans in baseball, and I'll put you on the list, Manny. You're one of my favorites for sure. Looking forward to another season of talking ball with you and being around the ballpark. And I don't think it's an accident that you're the only one left. You're the only one in that dugout who's left from day one. I don't think that's a coincidence.
Hey, Manny,
so.
Salk's got some good elliptical workouts for you. Some stuff if you need it as well. We'll take care of you. All right.
Oh, jeez.
All right, guys.
All right.
See you, Manny.
You have a nice day.
You too. Good luck this year. Play ball. There you go. There's Manny Acta, Mariners bench coach this year. Yeah, pretty cool. And obviously comes right before a great win last night. That's a fun game. That's a fun game. I wanted to spend a few minutes. I have to hear about Lyle's favorite moments of the game last night, of his experience. Lyle, as it turns out, Maura, is a huge celebrity around the ballpark. My gosh. Everybody wants to see Lyle and TJ, the Marine Layer guys. How long did it take you just to make your way back from one part of the park to the other?
Oh, I mean, I guess I don't usually talk about this stuff a ton. But
what are you talking about? Let's hear it.
Yeah, I mean, we were out doing some fan interviews before the game, and about 10 minutes before first pitch, we were starting to make our way back and try to walk back to the media area. But I think we made our way back up there in the third inning.
Because too many people recognized you and needed to say hi?
So I really
Do we need to think about security?
Okay, genuinely, just speak candidly on this. I really care about this stuff. When people stop us, I don't ever want to be one of those people that's hey, how are you? And then just keep walking. I really want to stop and talk to every person that's nice enough to stop us. Because I always think about how...
Because that's a real level of fame, is once you're able to just say, hey, how are you? And keep moving.
No. I just always think about how I would want somebody to respond if I was in that situation. So I always try to stop and talk to everybody. But then it starts to build up and you realize you've missed 3 dominant innings of Logan Gilbert. So anyway, it's very cool. We appreciate it every time it happens. But... yeah, we missed part of the start of the game.
How about that, Maura? Big time Lyle walking around.
How many times did you have to yell play ball?
There were 5 or 6 people on the spot yesterday that came up and just said play ball right off the rip, or that just 30 seconds into the conversation mentioned it.
Have you practiced? Have you gotten better at it at all?
No, I don't think I'm doing it ever again, because you guys said yesterday at the end of the show it was good, and I'm ending on that on the high note. If you guys ever need me to say play ball again, I think I'm just going to cut that sound and play it.
I laughed my butt off just when I heard the announcer say it last night before the game. I just started laughing to myself, thinking about how bad you were at saying play ball. Well, I'm glad you're a big celebrity. I have sort of the opposite problem, so this is good. I got in line with Avery yesterday. So I was there with my 13-year-old Avery, who's 5'6". I mean, she's tall and blonde and looks nothing like me or anyone else in our family. Anyway, Avery's the best. And we were having a great time. She loved it. Had such a good time getting to see everybody. Saw Maura, and she loves Arlene, or she thinks Arlene is you guys don't know her, but Arlene is the person who keeps our office working. She's the best. She deals with everything in this. She touches everything in this building in some way. And if she were to leave, I think that our whole company would fold. I don't know what we would do without Arlene. She's unbelievable, and she's one of the nicest, coolest people I know. Used to work for the Sonics. She's going to be so mad at me for even mentioning her, because she likes to remain anonymous, but I don't care because she's that awesome, and Avery loves her. Anyway.
She's already constantly juggling a ton of things, and she makes sure that we're all taken care of when we go to a game like that. And
Heather
need to get in, need to park, all that stuff.
Heather always used to say when the kids would demand too many things of her, hey, Mom is not an octopus. I only have 2 hands. I think Arlene might be an octopus. She can do anything for everybody all the time. It's amazing. Anyway, Avery and I go downstairs because Avery wanted to try the sushi. She's a vegetarian, or a vegan, really. So she wanted to get the veggie sushi that was available and kind of behind home plate. So we go down and we're waiting in line there. Not too bad a line, which was nice. And the guy right in front of us, super nice, turns around and is like, hey, listen to you every morning. I said, oh, that's very nice. And so we're talking for a few minutes. His name was Jonathan. He's like, yeah, me and my son, we listen every day. So a minute or two later, his kid comes over. His kid's young. I don't know how old, but elementary school, I would say. And he's like, hey, what do we listen to every morning in the car? And the kid goes, Zach Bryan?
Yeah.
Dad's like, no, like the talking and stuff. And he's like, oh, Brock Heward?
Perfect.
Dad's like, well, yeah, but like the other guy who's with Brock Heward. And the kid's like,
Matt, Mike, Mark.
I know. Well, now that we're on this topic, I think I've told this story before, but I'll just say it again. What happens a lot of the time when I'll tell people about, oh, like I work in radio or whatever, and they don't know that much about it, and maybe they haven't heard of the show, I'll have to say, so do you know who Brock Heward is? And they'll be like, yeah. I was like, well, it's his show.
It's his show. Yeah, it's
like,
just the show with Brock Heward. Anyway, yeah, that is that's how my night went. I was like, yeah, that's right. And the kid finally got it, which he's like, oh yeah, Mike Salk, yeah, that's right. And then the dad was like, man, you take a lot of grief. And I was like, well, yeah, I mean, that's apparently my lot in life is just to be ripped by the people out there. Anyway,
well,
so Jonathan, thanks for saying.
I did get some of that last night too. People are like, man, they are hard on you on that show. I was
well,
like,
for good reason. You're half asleep every morning. The only thing that's brought you out like to being awake in the last week is when we mentioned how famous you are. We're gonna have to do that every day. Just feed your ego and see what kind of energy it brings.
Wait, can we take a minute from picking on Lyle and pick on this text because I think it's ridiculous?
Yeah.
The 360 says, can we please get rid of the Big Dumper nickname? It's so Seattle that we all think it's funny and cute. Jeff Passan included it in his tweet about the contract. Field Yates, who covers the NFL for ESPN, was like, what a champ this guy. His nickname's the Dumper. And he just got this huge like, it's not just Seattle that likes it. It's awesome.
Everybody likes it. And I think what's best about it is that it came from the players.
It came from Kelnick.
Yeah. I mean, like, it didn't come from us. It didn't come from the fans or anything like that.
I think Cal likes it.
It's what his teammates started calling him.
Cal's leaned into it. I remember early on, I don't think he loved it. And then after the end,
I'm sure he had to explain it to his mom. Like, that's got to be weird, right? Like, oh, sorry, Mom. My nickname is now Big Dumper. And your mom's like, oh, well, that's terrible.
You know what's funny? I remember when they were in New York, I think in 2023, they had Kelnick in the MLB studios to do some social media stuff. And they said, why is Cal nicknamed the Big Dumper? And Kelnick's like, well, and he kind of starts laughing. He's like, I feel like it's kind of self-explanatory, but yeah, like.
So yeah, no, I that text
we can't
is
get
dumb.
rid of that now.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry.
All right, so what was your favorite part of last night? What was your favorite moment?
It's cliche, but I feel like it just has to be the Polanco homer. Randy's close too, but to see how just people exploded on that Polanco homer was really fun, and the crowd came to life, and the comeback. I feel like there's been some opening day comebacks over the years, but that was about as fun an opening day game as the Mariners have probably had in a long time. And paired with, I don't know, I thought Polanco, I know it's only game one, but I thought he looked really, really comfortable at the plate. He did not look overmatched. He looked like he was really enjoying himself. So that whole just, the cap of that game, to have Polanco go deep and to have the crowd just explode twice in an inning, I thought was really fun.
I actually enjoyed JP at the end, pulling that double play, how emphatic he was about it. Yeah, just, and I thought that was one of my, end of the game, but it was a big moment, and I love the exclamation point he put on it.
That's a great call, Maura. Lyle, not that yours was wrong in any way. I mean, how could you not say the Polanco home run? It was that whole thing was awesome. But that's a really cool one, the JP play, because infield defense is a major question mark for this team. JP is sort of the one guy in that infield that you're going to trust and say, like, okay, maybe the range isn't quite what it was, but well, that was a pretty rangy play he made. And that's not an easy play, right? The guy running from first to second kind of stops, trying to delay you, and to do that. And then shortstops don't generally make short throws, right? Generally, a shortstop is that short because they got a great arm. So that little quick throw from the other side of second base, that's not an easy play. And I thought JP made it very, very well. So that's a good call. Plus, it ended the game, which was great.
I'll say this about JP. Like you said, even if the range wasn't what it was earlier in his career, he, one, does not make a lot of mistakes, and two, he's a very, very heads-up shortstop. A play like that, for example.
He's just a smart player.
Right.
JP is not the fast. He's nowhere near one of the fastest guys on the team. And yet he might be the best base runner on the team. Like, JP is a heady player. He's a smart dude. Certainly when it comes to baseball, he just has a great baseball IQ, and that's another example of it yesterday. All right, let's take a quick break. Let's come right back, because I think there is one person for everybody around Seattle that was celebrating last night as the Mariners win on opening day. One person might have been celebrating a little harder than everybody else. Explain who and why next on Brock and Salk.
For Down Territory, going inside the game with former Cougs and Seahawks wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
The NFL's trying to clean up the game. What do they want to emphasize, and how do you feel about it?
The NFL wants to bring in more sportsmanship, and I understand they're saying, look, we want kids watching the game to learn from these guys. And listen, it is a good idea. But the ball player in me says, man, forget all that noise. This is football.
For Down Territory, every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bumpin' Stacy.
At Uline, they know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go the distance with you. 24/7, they answer the phone to get you the shipping and industrial supplies you need. Business can move fast. Unexpected large orders, adverse weather, new safety guidelines, and changing economic trends. Uline works hard keeping 41,000 items ready to ship, minimizing detours on your way to the extra mile. Visit uline.com.
Febreze. It's a classic odor tale. You fried fish for dinner, cleaned up, but the smell is still in the house. And the neighbors are coming over for game night. They're on their way. And then you spray Febreze Air Mist. Febreze Air starts working instantly to fight even your toughest odors, so you go from fish to fresh like that. Now all you have to worry about is Pam cheating at charades.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
These days, figuring out what, where, and how to watch TV is out of control. And so is the cost. That's why I'm psyched I found Philo. Live TV from A&E, Discovery, MTV, and all the channels I love. A huge library of movies and shows, and an unlimited DVR to save them. I also get AMC Plus and all their blockbuster hits. All this for just $28 a month when you sign up at philo.tv. Give it a try, risk-free at philo.tv.
Free consultations, no fee guarantees, 5-star reviews. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains the importance of going beyond these familiar offerings.
Accident victims want an attorney, Tom, that satisfies their needs. Someone who handles those needs with the highest degree of care. Pendergast Law offers the no-fee guarantees and free consultations, but these only scratch the surface.
Okay, explain more.
We make sure that every member of our team is genuinely passionate about helping others. Customer service and communication are our top priority. It's how we take care of our clients so they always feel one step ahead of the insurance companies. Our strong reputation for high standards provides comfort and confidence when it's needed most.
Pendergast Law offers the free consultations, the no-fee guarantees, and of course, they are 5-star rated. But what really makes them different is their genuine passion for helping others. I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
That's PendergastLaw.com.
Pizza Hut's fan favorite Cheesy Bites pizza is back. For just $15.99, get a large pizza with 28 pullable, poppable, cheese-filled bites. Plus the new Ranch Lovers Flight with ultimate chipotle and pepperoni ranch dips. Order now at PizzaHut.com.
Are you curious about who offers the best deals on top-rated Samsung, LG, and Sony TVs? The answer is surprising. It's not online, and it's not the warehouse clubs. The best deals on top-rated TVs are at Video Only. Don't believe it? Then check out the trade-in deals at Video Only. How about $500 for your old TV? Try doing that online. Before you buy that new TV, drop into Video Only. If you don't, you'll be sorry.
For the longest time, it was hard for me to even get out of the house. It took me a bit to understand what was going on, but eventually I learned I had anxiety. Now I'm getting help for it and feeling so much better. Sure, some days are better than others, but the whole thing about getting out of the house, that's not really an issue anymore.
Mental health care works when you make the call. Visit mentalhealthcareworks.org. A message from the American Psychiatric Association Foundation.
We are Seattle Sports. 7:10 a.m. on your radio. Streaming through the Seattle Sports app. Get new videos, podcasts, and articles on the Seahawks and Mariners from your favorite Seattle sports personalities daily.
I
had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash, and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother got life insurance from Ethos, and it only took 10 minutes. And he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online, no medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit ethos.com/game. That's ethos.com/game.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
Evan Cohen here. Picking a place to build a life is a lot like selecting a draft pick. Make a decision that will set you up for long-term success. Pick Wisconsin. In Wisconsin, you'll find dynamic career opportunities, beautiful seasons, affordable living, and legendary weekends. From its high quality of life and great schools to its fine arts, culinary, and pro sports scenes, Wisconsin gives you so much to look forward to. That's why you should pick Wisconsin. Learn more about making Wisconsin your home. Visit pickwisconsin.com.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Get his freaking auto!
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
Brock Ewert is my hero.
Jay Buhner just punched me in the kidney.
We're going to see you a minute.
Doesn't really work that way, Sherm. This is a show that has my name on it.
It kind of does, though.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Ewert and Mike Salk.
Oh, well, it's always fun coming in to talk baseball after a win. Even more fun after an exciting win like last night. Started off slow, okay, but Logan did his thing. He dominated. Well, look, that's going to happen on opening day, right? You're going to get the best pitcher from every team, and Luis Severino is a good pitcher, has been for a while, and was pretty good last night. Mariners did what they needed to do, took 7 walks, hit a couple home runs. That's kind of how you get to where you are, and just a fun win for them. Everyone in Seattle, of course, goes home happy, but nobody, I'm going to guess, nobody last night more happy than Jerry Dipoto. If I'm Jerry Dipoto last night, I'm doing a little extra celebrating. And it's only one game, and Jerry's a baseball guy, and he knows that it's over 162, and nothing is going to be proven on opening night, obviously. But I think that game last night played out to a lot of the things that Jerry believes and a lot of the things Jerry thinks and a lot of the things Jerry has received a lot of grief for, including from me. So I think when he sees 3 guys last night do what they did, I would imagine Jerry was pretty happy, pretty pleased with some of what he saw. 3 things, 3 guys in particular. One, obviously Jorge Polanco. They trusted Jorge Polanco. They brought him back. Nobody wanted him to. Right? I mean, when he was signed, it was to a collective yawn here in Seattle. After what we had seen, he might as well have brought back A.J. Pollock. Like, everyone was just like, what? You're bringing back Polanco, and now you're going to move him to an even more premier defensive position that he hasn't played before? Like, really? None of that makes a lot of sense. And there was a lot of frustration, a lot of kind of eye roll to it. But Polanco has looked great ever since he started playing in spring training games. Had a phenomenal spring training and was the best hitter in the game last night, I guess, other than Soderstrom. But he was, 3 for 3. Could have been 4 for 4. Who knows if he hadn't had the ridiculous sack bunt middle of the game. But Dan Wilson talking about his third baseman afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we're all looking to come out of this one confident, and obviously he's going to come out of this one feeling really good, and that's great. I mean, this is a long season. We can't forget about what's in front of us. We still have a long journey ahead of us, but it is good to get off on that right foot, and really great to see him swing the bat like he did tonight.
Well, and it's not just the right foot. I think for Polanco, it's the knee, right? In order to believe that bringing back Jorge Polanco was the right move and the right decision, you have to first believe that he had an injury last year that affected his performance and that it got fixed in the offseason. And he talked about how much easier it is now for him to hit from the left side.
Way comfortable. It's better. I got a little bit of pressure out of my knee, and it just feels really good. I feel like I can do a lot of more things hitting now.
So I'm just looking at this from Jerry Dipoto's standpoint for a moment. That is the Jorge Polanco that we were told about from people in Minneapolis when he was first acquired by the Mariners. And if you go back a God, I probably should have pulled the sound. But our friend Phil Mackey, who hosts a radio show, or I guess a show in Minnesota, who I go back with a long way. Phil's awesome, really smart dude. And I remember vividly one of the things he told us about Polanco was that's a guy you want up in a clutch situation. He's always going to give you a good quality at bat in a big moment. So seeing that borne out yesterday after not seeing it much at all last year, I think if I'm Jerry Dipoto, I'm pretty happy about that. Second guy, well, for me, it would be Randy Arozarena, and not just because he's a big deal to me personally, but if I'm Jerry, and we haven't heard as much from Jerry recently, but if I know, kind of the way Jerry thinks, and I've spent a lot of time talking to him, if you were to ask him about some of the quiet offseason additions, I think, or lack thereof, he would say that in their view, when they acquired Randy at the trade deadline, it wasn't just for the last 2 months of 2024. It was partly for or not just partly, it was for 25 and 26. So from his perspective, and I know it frustrates people, and I'm not necessarily even backing him up here, but from his perspective, that's what Randy Arozarena was in place of some of the offseason additions that they could have made this offseason. Instead, they did it last year to help them not only in 25 and 26, but at the end of last year as well. And obviously, Randy, he took over last night with his energy, with his juice. It started, we said it earlier, with the introduction pregame. It continued all the way through the bat slam and then eventually the home run trot. I don't know if he can bring that kind of energy for 162 games. I think that would be exhausting. But there's no doubt that Randy has just a flair. He's got a little sense of the moment, a sense for the spotlight. We've seen him whenever he's on the big stage. He tends to play his best. So I loved what I saw from Randy last night. I love that guy in general, and I love what he brings to the team in terms of the energy and the juice. But if I'm Jerry, again, I'm saying, yeah, I know you guys were upset that we didn't do more in the offseason. Randy is part of our offseason. We just got him ahead of time. And then the third guy would be Ryan Bliss. And guy starts at second base. I think that was a bit of a surprise after all the talk about Dylan Moore. He gets on base a couple of times, couple of walks for Bliss in the game. He played better second base than I think a lot of us thought he was going to. Right? That's a question mark, is his defense. And again, one game does not a season make. But he handled a couple of tough balls pretty well last night and made one really nice play late in the game that helped save the game. And his speed ends up being a factor. I know he ends up being thrown out at the plate technically because his foot bounces up over the plate, but you see what his speed does. Whether it's the stolen base that he ends up getting to third, or coming around from second to score on a wild pitch and then it gets overturned. Bliss was everywhere. Now, if I'm Dan, if I'm the coaching staff, I'm probably having a little conversation about not wandering too far away from first base on a pop-up, on a pop fly, because he was very nearly thrown out at first before he stole that bag. Like, he's got some base running decisions to clean up, but the speed, the athleticism, the patience. Ryan Bliss is part of the Paul Sewald trade. A trade that Jerry has gotten killed for, I think mostly rightfully, because Dominic Canzone has not turned into anything. Josh Rojas is no longer here. And just when it was made, it led to such frustration in the clubhouse. Well, part of that trade was Ryan Bliss. I don't know if he's going to turn into an everyday second baseman or not, but at least for last night, I think you start to look at something like that and say, okay, this was at least a positive to come out of that deal. So again, if I'm Jerry last night, I'm looking at this game and saying, yeah, I feel a little vindicated for one night about some of the moves and decisions that maybe other people from his point of view don't understand as well.
Yeah, it makes total sense. I buy into that Ryan Bliss approach at the plate. He looked really
he did look good,
walks.
Right?
Yeah.
If I'm Ryan Bliss, that's what I got to do. I want to walk a lot and then in the right moments hit the ball really hard, which he's capable of doing. I mean, for a little guy, he's got some serious pop, but he's got to get on base. If Ryan Bliss can continue to take walks like that, I don't mean 2 every night, but if he can get an on-base percentage north of 320, 330, if he could do that, I don't know if he can or not, but if he could do that, oh man, that's a weapon just because of his ability to run. And we know this team wants to run. We know that they want that to be a major part of how they pressurize the opponent. And Dan talked about all the little things that it brings. You got some Bliss numbers?
Well, and he just walked a good amount in the minor league. So that's always been a part of his game. And I know last year, you know, he was up and down, and it was tough to get in a rhythm for Bliss because he didn't get consistent playing time. But yeah, he's a guy that's part of the bread and butter of his game. He's got a pretty good approach, and he draws his walks.
I miss it. Thank you for correcting me. On the pop-up, he was stealing. I didn't realize that. I'm sorry. I thought he was just wandering. Sorry about that. I was, where was I? I don't know. I was walking around talking to people. So apologies to Ryan and to his family. Sorry about that. I didn't realize that. Okay, he was stealing? Even better then. Good for him. He had an even better game then. Even more credit to Ryan Bliss. I like it. All right. Let me take a quick break, and we'll come back. We'll give you guys everything you need to know. Brock's going to come hang out for a little while before he does his UFL game this weekend, assuming they're not on strike. We got a lot going on. It's Brock and Salk. Seattle Sports on 710, seattlesports.com.
For down territory, going inside the game with former Cougs and Seahawks wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
The NFL is trying to clean up the game. What do they want to emphasize, and how do you feel about it?
The NFL wants to bring in more sportsmanship. And I understand they're saying, look, we want kids watching the game to learn from these guys. And listen, it is a good idea. But the ball player in me says, man, forget all that noise. This is football.
For down territory, every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bump and Stacy.
For over 113 years, Pacific Lamp and Supply Company has been your #1 lighting specialist in Washington, from the Space Needle in Seattle all the way to the Riverwalk in Spokane. With the largest lighting inventory in Washington, Pacific Lamp's knowledgeable and experienced staff can assist with any lighting issue, including intricate lighting and control designs. Plus, they work with all utilities in Washington to get you the best available lighting rebates. Pacific Lamp and Supply Company, Washington's lighting experts since 1912. Visit pacificlamp.com.
Window Nation customers have been singing our praises for years. With fast, local service and an industry-leading 96% customer satisfaction rating, it's no wonder.
I researched window companies for the last year to see what the average prices were and the quality of work. Window Nation nailed both.
Get 2 windows free with every 2 you buy. Pay no interest for 2 full years. Hurry, this offer ends soon. Schedule a free estimate now. Call 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com. That's 866-90-NATION.
Say, partner, what happens when you combine Truck Month with the March sales event at the West Hills Autoplex?
Oh boy, gift card with test drive, complimentary basketballs, free throw for savings, deals on trucks, Ford trucks, Chevy trucks, Ram, GMC, new trucks, used trucks, trucks and trucks and trucks and trucks.
Celebrate Truck Month and the March sales event at the West Hills Autoplex this weekend, part of the Hazelwood Auto Group.
Hazelwood has it!
Oh! Trucks and trucks and trucks.
Attention tax accountants. The following message is for you. Tax season is here, and if you're an accounting firm, the pressure is on. Long hours and tight deadlines make this time of year a challenge for even the most seasoned tax professionals. But this tax season, Blue Jay has your back. Powered by generative AI, Blue Jay is the preferred partner solution of CPA.com for tax research. Ask a complex tax question, and Blue Jay gives you better tax answers in seconds. Save time, maximize your clients' refunds with high-speed, accurate, and intuitive AI technology. Built with a library of only the most trusted tax resources, updated daily to keep up with changes in tax. For a limited time, save 40% off at bluejay.com/start now. That's BLUE, the letter J.com/start now. Or text BLUE to 511-511. Save 40% by texting BLUE to 511-511. Tax accountants don't leave money on the table. Stress less and text BLUE to 511-511 today. Tax fees may apply.
Hello, Seattle. It's your friendly neighbor, the T-Mobile Park roof. From up here, I can see it all. Folks pouring in from the street, the sun setting over the sound, the roar of the crowd as Luis Castillo pumps his fist, and the joy of the J-Rod squad as Julio snares a deep fly ball at the wall.
He reaches up with a leap and he makes the catch!
And all the faces smiling with every perfectly grilled hot dog and swirl of soft serve. When the final out's made, I'll be right up here, lighting the W and soaking it all in. Mariners baseball. Try it inside.
Be here for the Mariners opening homestand at T-Mobile Park. The fun continues all weekend with Randy Arozarena crossed arm hoodie night tonight at 6:40, Hello Kitty bucket hat night tomorrow at 6:40, and Little League Day Sunday at 1:10. Don't miss out. Get your tickets and check out everything on deck at mariners.com.
Heading outdoors or on the water this weekend?
Check in with Joey and Nelly on the Outdoor Line from 6 to 8 a.m. every Saturday on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
At Lake Washington Windows and Doors, we offer premium windows that are 25% more energy efficient, reduce noise by 50%, and come with clean glass technology. And Leak Armor installation gives you a lifetime warranty to protect your home. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com.
Through March 31st, save double on your sales tax from Lake Washington Windows and Doors. Plus, enjoy easy zero down, zero payments, and zero interest, same as cash 12-month financing. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com to save double today.
Did you know that most people wait 6 or 7 years before they buy a new TV? That's a lot of time in front of one TV. So why not get one of the best sets for the next 7 years, like one of the top-rated Samsung, LG, or Sony models? Too expensive? What if you could get up to $1,000 trade-in for your old set? Who would do a stupid deal like this? Right now, at Video Only, you can get big bucks for your old set as a trade-in and a hot price on the new models. Don't be sorry. Check out Video Only.
Are insurance companies taking you for a ride? Literally? Don't let them destroy your financial future. If you've been in a car crash, Just Cause Legal is your weapon against greedy insurers. They don't care about you, but Just Cause Legal does. Time is running out. Get the compensation you deserve. Call 253-859-8899 now or visit justcauselegal.com. Don't wait until it's too late. Take back control and fight for what's yours. Meet your legal lifesavers. Just Cause Legal, fighting for you.
Only 1 in 5 people with autism are employed, despite many having the skill set and desire to work.
Maybe it's because employers don't know what kind of jobs they can do. Like, what about a programmer?
That's a job for someone with autism.
How about a healthcare worker?
Yep. That is too. People with autism can do a lot of different jobs, but often get overlooked due to outdated stigmas. Introducing WIN by Autism Speaks. We help businesses lead the way in inclusive hiring.
What about a ranch hand?
To learn more, go to autismspeaks.org/win.
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
More than anything else, it is just great to have baseball back. It was awesome to be at the ballpark last night, and the Mariners coming away with a win makes it all the more fun. Logan Gilbert dominating his 7 innings last night. He was awesome. He really was. 8 strikeouts, just 2 hits, no walks, only threw 83 pitches. That is what an opening day ace is supposed to look like, and he did it for sure. And, you know, I'm sure challenging for him, dealing with being an opening day starter, excitement that comes with it.
Yeah, before the game, I mean, the fans were going crazy and everything. I was a little amped up, and even warming up, a couple balls were kind of going up just because I was pretty amped up before the game. So I talked to Cal, really make sure we were getting the hand out front, aiming low and that kind of stuff, and staying on it, and felt like we made a pretty good adjustment throughout the game.
Well, they sure did. He was filthy. He was, again, for all of the fireworks that came in the last couple of innings, all of that is possible because of Logan's dominance early in the game. As for what happened later, well, this was certainly my favorite moment.
Again, the 0-2 on the way to Randy. Swinging a well-hit ball deep to left field. This game is tied. Goodbye, baseball. Off the facing of the upper deck and in the upper deck in left field, and that was a bullet to left. Randy Arozarena with his first home run of the season, and this game is tied at 2. Holy smokes, what a shot by Randy.
All right, I'll ask Brock this in a few minutes. What was your favorite part of the Randy home run? The fact that it tied up the game, the fact that he spiked his bat at the dugout, the fact that he waved to the crowd to get them cheering louder and amped up more as he came around second, or the fact that he stopped before third to do a little jump shot with Christopher Negron before eventually coming home and raising the trident. I don't know which of those things was my favorite. It was probably the bat spike, but I did get a pretty big kick out of coming around third base and giving a little jump shot. So that's a really cool moment. Randy is an energy guy, and he certainly brought it last night. As for Jorge Polanco, 3 hits. He had 3 3-hit games all of last year. He gets one in the opener, including going deep for the game-winning 2-run shot. Yeah, I mean, I know we talked a lot about all the offense and how different it would look, but, you know, what I saw was kind of the old philosophy, right? 7 walks, 2 home runs. That accounts for all of your offense. Very close to it, and then let the pitching do its thing. So, nice win. Dan Wilson, happy with how they looked.
Really a little bit of everything tonight on that one. A great ball game, a great way to start the year. I thought the late inning heroics were unbelievable. Fans were outstanding. Great to be at home for this one. You can't say enough about Logan and how he pitched tonight. Getting hit in the back of the leg there, but being able to gut out 3-4 more innings, looked just outstanding, was on top of his game. Very typical Logan start. That's mid-season form, and here he is in the first night doing it. Just looked outstanding. Good defense behind him, and then some really timely hitting late in the game, and that's the difference. And just a great ball game all around.
Yeah, it certainly was. Game 2, they get right back to it tonight. Luis Castillo against the lefty, Jeffrey Springs. So will the lineup be any different? Will we see Dylan Moore? Will we see Donovan Solano? Will we see Mitch Garver? I'm curious kind of how similar that lineup remains, as that is something that we believe Dan Wilson would like to see a little bit philosophically more often than in the past.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
Well, even before the game, it was already a great night. Wonderful start to the season. Just some cool moments. The girl from the Make-A-Wish Foundation running the bases and stopping at each base to do a little tribute to each of the Mariners outfielders was awesome. She killed it. Julio, Bryce, JP, all coming out to meet her. That was awesome. Huge ovation for Cal Raleigh as he got the platinum glove, and I would say he got the loudest ovation of the night. And then, Ichiro throwing out the first pitch, 84, clocked at 84. Impressing everybody, including Dan Wilson, who had to try to catch it. All right, not something quite out of Star Wars like the throw from right field, but at Ichiro's age, going into the Hall of Fame this year and still throwing heat from the hill, yeah, that's a pretty cool moment. Elsewhere, just in the AL West, Astros win. They beat the Mets. It looked like Fromber was pretty good yesterday. Rangers fall to Boston. Angels, well, they lost. That's what happens when Yusei Kikuchi's your opening day starter. Man, I know we talked about how the A's are going to be better, and you watch them play last night. I think they are. The Angels are starting Yusei Kikuchi on opening day against the White Sox and losing 9-1.
So I think their offense is a little more formidable this year, but their pitching, same as ever.
Sheesh, that is not a great sign for them.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
Hot goal, short side, held by Pickard. Beniers scores! Oh, when it rains, it pours. And we love that in Seattle. 4-0 Kraken.
Yeah, they were sick of losing, apparently, to the Oilers, and so they decided to score 5 times in the second period. They win at 6-1, 2 for Jaden Schwartz. You heard that one from Matty Beniers. Burakovsky, McCann, Yanni Newman had a goal as well. Adam Silver, speaking from the NBA Board of Governors meeting yesterday. No real news or timeline or anything like that for expansion. He just said they're still studying it. He's empathetic to the fans in Seattle. Great. Here's a little more from the commissioner.
We want to make sure we put teams in a position, particularly as we're setting the price, to be in a position to be competitive, economically successful, and just as importantly for the other teams, successful on the floor. And the issue I would not have anticipated at the time I sort of began talking about the timeline is how much unknown there is about local media right now. Having said that, though, I would just say again to our many fans in Seattle, and I hear from them often, and the legacy of the Sonics is still very strong, and it's a fantastic basketball market, is that we are very focused on it. The fact I think that I'm not being more sort of forthcoming publicly doesn't mean we're not studying it very intensively. We don't take those fans for granted.
I mean, again, that's still no news in the good news, bad news, no news scale, but I think the way he's talking about it, and I do like him saying the fact that you're not hearing news doesn't mean that the conversations aren't ongoing. So that's the latest there. That's everything you need to know. If you let me go through these again. Let's see. Texas Tech wins, Duke wins, Alabama wins, and Florida wins yesterday. So if you're keeping up with your bracket still, if you're still invested in your bracket, now you know what went down yesterday. All right. G. Scott's going to be here at 8:30. What is G going to be like today?
I don't know. He had a good time at the game, it seemed like last night.
Yeah?
Yeah, he was making his way around, kind of making his rounds, talking to a bunch of people. He seemed like he was enjoying himself.
There's very few things in the world I like more than talking baseball with G. Scott. It's just one of my real joys in life is getting to talk. I mean, it's a privilege.
He calls, wow, you haven't, I don't think, been around for this. He calls Salk a baseball elitist.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fun.
I got to sit down with G and talk baseball in the reset.
How was that?
It was fun. You should switch roles with me next time.
Are you going to do it again?
If he wants me to come back on, yeah.
Wow, good. Perfect. You get to do it all you want because I'm done. I'm toast on that one. I got no more patience left for that. He'll be with us at 8:30. Shannon will be with us at 9. Brock is with us next, though. It's Brock and Salk. Seattle Sports on 710.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob. Weekdays 2 to 7.
The Mariners making a move to lock up part of their core in Cal Raleigh. This is somebody you drafted, you developed, one of the great catchers in the game. You keep that guy around. He's a leader in the clubhouse. He's everything you'd want in a player. He's everything you'd hope when you draft a young player that they're going to turn into something close to this. And you got it.
Cal could probably get a lot more money on the open market, but he wants to stay here. I think Mariner fans are going to love him forever.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Hey, Brock Ewart here with my buddy Dave Taylor from First Mark Insurance. You know, Dave, I love sport. You love sport. And I love sitting with coaches and hearing their game plan each and every week. What are the keys to a First Mark Insurance game plan?
It's a great question, Brock. I think there's really 3 keys to a great game plan with us. Number 1 is we want to make sure that our clients have the correct coverage for their unique specific needs. So that's number 1. Do you have the right coverage? Number 2, once we have the right coverage, are we getting that coverage at the most competitive price possible? And then last and not least would be, once we have the right coverage at the most competitive price, are we providing world-class service to those customers so that when they need it, they have someone there that's got their back?
Those are the 3 keys to a First Mark Challenge victory. And man, am I so glad Molly and I took the challenge. We are one of so many through a decade plus of being a First Mark Challenge victory. You can too. Just simply go to firstmarkinsurance.com. Firstmarkinsurance.com.
Today, a 19-year-old girl was kidnapped. I'm going to bring her home.
Jason Statham is a working man.
Where's the girl? You a cop? You wish I was a cop.
From the director of The Beekeeper.
This is human trafficking.
You do this, better go for long.
Is that a grenade?
Yep. You ain't a cop. You're a working man. That's right. Time to get to work.
A Working Man. Rated R. Under 17. Not admitted without parent. Now playing only in theaters.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. 2 lines of unlimited for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings compared to Verizon and AT&T. But don't just take our word for it.
It's not just the savings that are great with our T-Mobile plan. There's all this value from all these other things that T-Mobile offers.
T-Mobile has been such a savings for us.
We love it.
Switch today and get 2 free 5G phones like the Motorola Edge with Turbo Power charging that gives you power for the day in just 15 minutes. And customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Go to T-Mobile.com/choice55 to learn more. With AutoPay plus taxes and fees, plus $5 per line without AutoPay. Debit or bank account required. 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. Motorola Edge on us with 24 monthly bill credits and new line for well-qualified customers, plus tax and $35 per line connection charge. See details at T-Mobile.com. Motorola Edge requires 68-watt charger. Charger sold separately. Actual performance will vary based on usage and configuration.
This is Chris Davis with the Davis Law Group. Did you know that a pedestrian does not have to be crossing the street on a marked crosswalk to have a successful legal claim against the driver? Pedestrians can even be partially at fault for a collision and still have a valuable claim. Call us today for a free consultation or get my free book on pedestrian accident law at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com. That's Davis Law Group, better service and even better results.
Making fresh produce and food affordable and accessible to all is a mission Safeway is deeply committed to. G. Scott here. Your local Safeway has all the great benefits that SNAP-eligible families love, plus exclusive savings. Right now, save 50% on Fresh Pass memberships, plus get a monthly $5 credit, free unlimited delivery, $10 of free produce, and double rewards. Check out your Safeway For You app for all details and savings, or visit Safeway.com/SNAP for details.
4 down territory, going inside the game with Michael Bumpus.
I like this. More quarterbacks should start doing this.
Every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bump and Stacy.
Endless hours of research, seeking referrals, dozens of calls. Hiring the right attorney can be a challenging process during an already difficult time. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains.
In Washington State, Tom, there are thousands of attorneys to choose from.
Referrals and online research can be helpful, but discovering the right attorney requires a conversation. It can be hard to identify integrity and authenticity without that interaction.
So, what do you recommend?
We encourage anyone looking for personal injury representation to call for a free consultation with our team before making a decision simply based on referrals or online research. Accident victims need an attorney that listens, demonstrates honesty, and is genuinely understanding of their unique circumstances. The care, attention, and preparation that our firm provides throughout the case mirrors the effort involved when taking on the insurance companies.
Save time and avoid mistakes after an injury. Contact the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
Was drafted in 1999 by the Philadelphia 76ers, and that was just absolutely a dream come true.
Todd's playing in the NBA is unique. His battle with neuropathy is not.
I first started noticing problems a couple of years into my NBA career, and I felt like my sock was just balled up right in the arch of my foot, and there'd be areas of burning and tingling, and then there'd be other areas of deadness where there would be no response to touch. We tried everything possible, from surgery to different drugs, to try and take care of some of the symptoms.
I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist at Sound Pain Solutions. Our neuropathy treatments can rehabilitate damaged nerves. We use FDA-cleared, non-surgical, non-drug, pain-free procedures that have helped thousands of neuropathy sufferers find relief.
Now I'm able to spend more time doing the things that I enjoy, being on my feet.
If you experience numbness, shooting, or burning pains, or loss of balance, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025, or click soundpainsolutions.com.
This hour of the Brock and Salk Show is powered by Star Rentals, preferred supplier to the West's best contractors.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Mariners 1-0 after the nice comeback last night. A lot of heroes for the M's, starting with Logan Gilbert, going right through Randy Arozarena, Ryan Bliss, and of course Jorge Polanco as well. Joining us on the phones right now, all the way from beautiful Houston, Texas, before the hopefully going to be played UFL game this weekend, is Brock Heward. Hi, buddy.
Good morning. How are you?
Well, I'm great. It was quite a night last night.
Yeah, I think you could kind of script that one in some ways. I think we talked about it a little bit, and who was going to come in a tight game late, what was it all going to look like.
We haven't even gotten to that story yet, the eighth inning, who's going to come in thing.
Yeah, we don't have to worry about that because Jorge Polanco just decided to have himself a night. I mean, I think you can argue his best night as a Mariner.
It's funny.
Remember.
I looked at last year.
Yeah.
I was curious how many 3-hit games he had. He did have 3-hit games last year, including a 4 for 5 with a home run game. So I don't remember what game that was, or how important it was at the time. But just numbers wise, he did have a 4 for 5 with a home run game last year. But your point is obviously very well taken. To do that in the first game after a lot of the sort of reaction to his signing this past offseason, it had to be great for him and for Jerry.
I would agree, and for his teammates on a night where they needed him to pick him up. I do actually remember that 4-hit game last year. I don't remember all of the particulars about it, but I think other guys were hitting, and that just wasn't really the case last night. I mean, he was the one that was really, really going, and I think you'd probably argue without him. I don't know if you find a way to win that sucker last night. So to see him get 3 of their 5 hits, to see them find a way to win in a game that you felt like, oh, you don't want to lose this one, not with the way Logan pitched. You realize that the A's did not have a runner in scoring position all night.
Mm-hmm.
The Mariners were just 0 for 3. They didn't have, they had traffic, they had walks, they had guys on base. They were just 0 for 3. The A's did not have a runner in scoring position. They hit the 2 bombs and got the walk. That was it. And one other hit. That was it. So kind of a quiet night and a loud night. A quiet night as far as a bunch of runners moving all over the bases and traction and action, but a loud night with a couple unbelievable home runs from Randy, obviously, from Jorge late, and a couple bombs from that youngster with the A's as well.
Brock, you seem to have left out one person who had a pretty big effect on the game last night.
I said a big bomb from Randy.
I mean, barely. You glossed over it. You just sort of barely mentioned it. Oh yeah, and then there's the Randy Arozarena homer. Anyway, back to Jorge Polanco and Logan and all these other guys, and they were all so important and this and that. And Randy kind of did this. Anyway, don't you skip over my man. Don't you skip over the juice. Don't you skip over the energy.
Again, the 0-2 on the way to Randy. Swing a well-hit ball deep to left field. This game is tied. Goodbye, baseball. Off the facing of the upper deck. And in the upper deck in left field. And that was a bullet to left. Randy Arozarena with his first home run of the season. And this game is tied at 2. Holy smokes, what a shot by Randy.
All right, I asked these guys. I'll ask you, Brock. What was your favorite? The spiked bat, the wave to the crowd to get them more amped up like a defensive end rushing the passer on third down, the stop before he got to third base to shoot a quick jumper with Christopher Negron, or the full-on trident celebration at the end. What did you like the most?
Yeah, I mean, it was a 4-act show. There's no question about that. So, and the opening act was tremendous. So it just kind of set the table for the rest of the play. And I mean, I would say if I had to pick one, it would be that opening act of we're not doing this again. We're not playing these games where we're not scoring, and we're not going to lose this opener, and Logan's not going to give us 7 unbelievable innings to lose. And I'm going to be a contributor. And just I just kind of felt all of that in the spike of the bat. And then it was just the showmanship. And I'd probably say the wave of the hands I put forth, because it was kind of a weird, I don't know what it was. It's like these Cam Ward and these college football players do with the stinky thing, but it just happened to be above his head. It wasn't like the full-on wave. The jumper was uncharacteristic. I don't know about you, but I didn't necessarily see Randy Arozarena as a jumper guy.
Yeah.
And then the tridents was
all of it, man. And just look, I promised you over text last night I won't be annoying and insufferable about Randy this year, but I won't. I'm going to try not to be. But because Randy's imperfect, there are moments where he's going to be super frustrating to watch, whether it's defensively and left, or he can be really streaky up and down. But he's pretty unique in all of the things he can do on a baseball field, combined with the edge, energy, and juice that he plays with. There just aren't a lot of guys in baseball like that.
Yeah, and I'm going to guess if you talk to baseball people and former big league players, you need a guy like that.
Mm-hmm.
You need an Olin Kreutz. You need a Robbie Tobeck. You need somebody with just some juice and some energy and some life. And I don't know if there's another guy on the roster that could have put together a 4-part play like that, where it would have been like, oh yeah, that's him. Yeah, that I think for a majority of those guys would be a little out of character. Maybe Robles. Robles, I think, probably similarly is a live wire,
but not with the same kind of edge. You're right in terms of the energy, right? Obviously, Robles is an energy guy. I mean, that's who he is. But what Randy brings is this kind of edginess that is pretty rare in baseball, to see it combined with kind of a look-at-me showmanship, which I don't say that in a negative way, but it's very rare in baseball for someone to make themselves a spectacle like that, especially when they're as quiet as they are. I mean, that's the weirdest thing and coolest thing about Randy is he's deathly quiet until he does something awesome, and then he turns into Dennis Rodman. I love it.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of the key to it, is if it was like a every moment, every day thing, every series thing, guys just get tired of that act. I remember Chad Johnson going to Ocho Cinco and all the little things he would do, and you and I saying, I don't know if this is going to sustain. I don't know how you keep sustaining and building on that. But this is not that. This is not an everyday nuisance. This is not an everyday look at me. Yeah, I think he just has just kind of that is the best way to say it's what you said. A multitude of time, just kind of an edge. Yeah, just kind of a. Yeah, I'm not doing this to show you up. I'm doing this because I've got an intensity and an edge, probably cuts through all that he's been through over the course of his career and his journey.
You think there's any chance he gets thrown at tonight?
Gets thrown at?
Yeah. You think there's any chance they plunk him tonight?
There's going to be something inside. I don't know if they go all the way to putting him on base because, as their manager said afterwards, like, we don't hit these guys. I don't, like, we have a real hard time with this staff.
I know.
So,
well, yeah, them and everybody else. But yeah, like, still, I wondered. That was a lot. I thought it was great. I got no problems with it at all. If the game had not been as close as it was, I was expecting Cal to wear or whoever it was, Rayleigh rather, to wear the next pitch because it was a lot. And I'm obviously you weren't going to do it in what at that point was a tie game, but I am a little curious to see if the A's young team trying to figure out their trying to earn some respect in the AL West. Curious to see if they will have a little retaliation.
You think that there's a little bit of maybe grace for opening day, 42,000 people, the theatrics of all of that?
Good question. I don't know.
Yeah.
And by the way, with Randy, it started before the game. I mean, like, I don't know if you got a chance to see all the intros. But he was like insane. It was awesome. He treated running out of that tunnel like Cam Chancellor and Earl Thomas and Richard Sherman. Like, it was unbelievable.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah,
pretty cool.
What else jumped out to you last night?
Oh gosh, I mean, when you watch somebody that is a really good pitcher, and Severino's a really good pitcher, and that stank that he threw 3-2 to Rowdy, and the amount of movement on that backdoor, whatever you want to call that stank, was special stuff. And he's got some stuff, and he's a good pitcher. But you see the difference between a good pitcher and an elite pitcher. I mean, Logan had 2 3-2 counts the whole night. I mean, threw 20 less pitches than Severino did with an extra inning pitched. Just does not. You start. How many times did Goldie say on the broadcast repeatedly, like, yeah, there's strike one. There's strike one. I mean, he just pounds the zone. And, I mean, yeah, it was his first. I don't think we dismiss that. Like, you're stepping in for Luis. Not that there's pressure or that Luis is looking or he's looking over his shoulder at Luis or anything like that. But it's, okay, this is a national holiday. This is what I grew up watching, the best of the best. And across baseball, he was the best of the best. Skubal gave up some home runs and some runs to the Dodgers. And to go 7 with that kind of precision and commands, and as I said, barely even smell a 3-2 count all night long.
He only threw 83 pitches.
Yes.
That's insane. Yeah. I mean, another couple weeks, and he's certainly going into the 8th and 9th. Now, that does lead to the 8th inning. And, for all of the excitement, and it's all deserved today, this very easily could have gone the other way, right? I mean, thankfully, the A's have their own 8th inning issue as they turn to Jose Leclerc, who did not look the same as he did when he was in Texas for all those years. He may be kind of creeping towards the end of this thing. What did you make of the decision to bring in Trent Thornton and then the execution from Mr. Thornton?
Yeah, I think you mentioned this either in the text or your email last night. I think overall, too. So those are some nitty-gritty details, and even above that, because I think it plays into that 8th inning decision, I think that there was a level of earn it in the lineup. And what you did over the last month and a half, maybe what you've done over the last 4 months, to put yourself in the position to hit spring training running. And Ryan Bliss earned that start last night. Rowdy Tellez earned that start at first base. I think Trent Thornton spring earns him that first opportunity out the gate compared to Santos and some of his peers in the bullpen. And I think it was a continuation of, what you did for the last month and a half may not be predictive, but I'm going to pay it off. And, I don't know how any of your peers can complain when you're the one playing because you played at a really a higher level and a better level than your teammates did over the course of the last month and a half of you together. So I was not surprised to see him. I think he had a 0.00 ERA in the spring.
And what did it take, 2 pitches?
Yeah, it took 2 pitches, and that dude deposited that ball at 110 miles an hour in the right field.
That got out in a hurry. To me, it wasn't about the decision. I think I agree with you on the decision to bring in Thornton. I think you've got the right reasoning, and I'm going to spend some more time on that at 8 o'clock. But also, I'm not sure what other option there was. We said this yesterday and 2 days ago, like, hey, who's coming in the 7th and 8th inning to protect the lead or a tie game to try to get you to Munoz until Matt Brash gets back, until Troy Taylor gets back, and until, Santos shows that he is
consistent.
Yeah, that he can throw
reliable,
strikes,
trustworthy,
right?
throw strikes, yes.
All of those things. I mean, I was expecting it to be either Thornton or Snyder last night, And, again, as we know, they have access to so much more information on which pockets of a lineup they think is a better fit for which pitcher. So I would never come in here and be like, why would you go with Thornton instead of Snyder? I don't have any idea. They have reams of data that would explain that.
Okay. So Salk.
Yeah.
You gave me a Brock. So Salk.
Yeah.
Lyle. Was Jorge on his own?
Well, Jorge said he was on his own.
Okay. That's not what I asked.
Was he on his own? You think Jorge's covering for his manager? I mean, I don't know. That doesn't make. I've never heard of that.
So. I don't think so. Okay, so and I heard that with Jen afterwards, and bless her heart for asking.
Well, do you want to hear Dan's response? So for those who don't know what Brock's talking about, first and second, one out.
Everybody knows what I'm talking about.
Well,
Everybody
first
knows.
and second, one out. Mr. Polanco, already on a 2-for-2 day, decides to sacrifice bunt, which is, I got to tell you, in every way bizarre. And everyone who saw it was like, What? Why would he do that?
If there were no outs, part of me thought, I wonder if he thinks there's no outs.
He might have screwed up the number of outs. That's definitely a possibility. Here is Dan reacting to Jorge saying it was his own decision to bunt.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get a chance to talk about it, but I'm glad that he's trying to see things. He's a veteran guy. He knows what he's trying to do. But we will have a conversation about it, but a huge night for him. I'm so happy that he gets a chance to start his season like that.
We'll have a conversation about it. Is baseball manager for?
Yes.
I was furious, and if the cameras hadn't been on, I would have wrung his neck in the moment.
Yeah. Is that the first time you've heard that, or did you play that earlier today?
I haven't played it, but I've heard it. Yeah.
Okay. So there you go. Well, your boy Goldie on the broadcast, and I've been in this position a few times up in a booth as an announcer when you totally disagree with everything that's going on in front of you, and you never say it blatantly. I mean, Goldie put on a masterclass of I cannot believe what I just saw without ever saying I can't believe
one
what
out.
I just saw.
What are you doing? I mean, if he had done that with nobody out, you could be like, hey, it's a close game. You're trying to move the runners and trying to sacrifice them in. But with one out, yeah, dude, I don't know. I think you probably got to take your hacks. All right, let's do some Blue 88 with Brock.
This is Brock and Salk's Blue 88.
Blue 88! Blue 88!
We take you to the field as Brock Ewart breaks down 3 football questions as only he can.
Now here's your hosts, Brock Ewart and Mike Salk.
I wish you were here today, man. We have hours of material for today, and we only get you for a half hour. It's a bummer.
Well, just wait till G walks in. He's got some significant material too.
It's annoying.
Oh yeah.
You're making me talk baseball with G, which is like my personal hell. Question number 1 for you: a little trend that's developing, Brock. This evaluation period. What are you seeing?
Well, I was curious when and how this is going to start. Kind of like Christian McCaffrey, 10, 12, 15 years ago, started to sit out bowl games, and then other guys kind of followed to kind of protect their own interests. And obviously, it's not going to be every player, and you've got to have significant leverage to do it. But what you're seeing, and Daniel Jeremiah tweeted this the other day, he said this is the most high-end prospects he's seen decide to not run a 40. Just said, I'm not doing that. I'm not measuring that. I'm not putting myself out there. Ashton Genty, the running back from Boise State, was yet another. There have been a bunch of the guys at the top of this draft that are just like, you're not going to get that time on me. You can watch me do all these football drills and watch me do all my agility drills and watch me lift some weights, but you're not going to get me on that line to run a track 40. Not going to do it. And obviously it takes leverage. And, guys that are second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh at the combine, they're probably going to run their 40 because they need to. But if you don't need to, and you've got the opportunity, I guess, if you're Ashton Genty and some of these others, to say, sorry, my tape will do all the talking. Their tape is doing all the talking at a rate that we have not seen in Daniel Jeremiah's world ever.
All right, question number 2. A lot of criticism of the Seahawks free agency, Brock, Ben Solak, and others. How would you disagree?
Yeah, I think, again, it's hard to do at a national level. It really is. It's hard to be as myopic on any individual team or contracts or numbers like we are, because it's what we do every day, all day, seemingly for months on end, is talk about these deals and what they look like and the structure of them. I would like Ben Solak in some of these that rank the Seahawks 31st or 30th and 30th. I'd like them to look at the nitty-gritty details of all these contracts, because the devil's in the details. If you want to look at Cooper Kupp and you think it's a 3-year, $45 million deal, if you want to look at DeMarcus Lawrence and you think it's a 3-year, $42 million deal, if you want to look at the gross numbers of these deals and what the agents put out there, then to me, you're not doing your job. You got to really at least turn the next page, Salk, and look at the guarantees and look at the bonuses and look at where the dead cap is spread out and look at how the thing is structured. And almost all of these deals are one-year deals, including Sam Darnold, with the way that they have gone about structuring it, the cash up front, the bonuses up front, that if it works, great. If it works for DeMarcus Lawrence and he stays healthy, great. He'll be here year 2. If DeMarcus Lawrence is done and can't help and contribute and his body's just broken down after 12 years, then great. You shake hands and move on and say, I appreciate you sticking your face in there and setting an edge and playing good run defense, which at a minimum he's going to do this season. So I think it's pretty misguided of a lot of national folks looking at nothing but the gross numbers, not studying the net numbers, and not studying how this is really a bunch of incentive-laden one-year deals for veteran guys to see what they've got left in the tank, and I don't mind that kind of structure.
All right, question number 3. I'm going to take you off the board because Morrison over 3 mock drafts from yesterday, Brock. And I want to know how you would feel about any of these 3 scenarios. Scenario 1 is from our guy, Matt Miller. He did a full 7-round mock draft. I won't read you everything from the Seahawks, but he went wide receiver Matthew Golden, round 1. Then Georgia guard Tate Ratledge and Georgia center Jared Wilson together in round 2. Michigan edge player Josiah Stewart and BC tackle Ozzie Trapillo in round 3. And just for fun, Dylan Gabriel in round 5. How would you feel about that?
Well, you're starting to see this from Matt Miller and some of the others, and it will be great. Next week, right, we start with Daniel Jeremiah every Wednesday up to the drafts and afterwards. And I think what you're seeing with him doing this, with Chad Reuter doing this, with others doing it, is they're starting to sniff some grades on these guys. And what's happening, Salk, is there's a pretty big cliff at the wide receiver mark. That, between Golden or McMillan, maybe Burden from Missouri, there's a few that got some high grades, and then there's a pretty significant dip. So what you're seeing these guys project is get your receiver in the first and your difference maker higher grade, and then with those next 2 picks, you can find that guard and that center that's got a very similar grade to many of their peers. I don't think I'm buying that. I would certainly still prefer a Booker. I'd still prefer a Gray Zabel. But if the 2 or 3 guys that the Seahawks have evaluated and rated at 18 in that spot are not there, they are not going to take a lower-rated guard just to take a guard. They're going to take the highest-graded player at that point and believe and know that in the 2nd and 3rd rounds, those guards and centers will still be there that are capable players.
How do you feel about taking 2 teammates like that back-to-back, a guard and a center next to each other?
I don't hate it. And
like
it's a little unique. Ratledge, I think, was a bit banged up, and unfortunately for him, because he's a great athlete, the Rattler. He's a great athlete at guard, and in the center, I've seen the center both projected to Seattle and is not a real great zone fit. He's more of a mauler. He's more of a big physical guy than he is a real mover and shaker, maybe like Kendall is from Boston College a little bit later. But yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing a couple guys.
Well, the other 2 mocks, Charles Davis had them going corner with Jade Barron.
Yeah, I don't see the nickel. I don't see that.
And then Bucky Brooks goes back to Gray Zabel. So there you go. That is today's Blue 88.
Yeah. So do you know what G's going to bring in there? What fire he's already? Were you in the other room when he came storming in?
He already came in once. He's changed his mind on something he thought yesterday and was like yelling at me about.
Oh, okay.
He subtweeted you on an opinion that he thought you would have that you don't.
That I don't have. Dude. Is there any way we can just end the show at 8:25 and not do this?
He thought Salk would hate the Arozarena bat flip spike.
Oh, interesting. Say
you don't know me without saying you don't know me.
You know what he is? He's like these draft prospects that you'll hear the people say, personnel people, they'll say, "Oh, he's a lot."
Yeah.
And those two words just really resonate. Oh, him?
I don't know anybody. I mean, look, I know we all do this, and I've probably done it myself, where you try to like extrapolate from one moment into something bigger than that. But this guy, man, the guy's been to one Mariner game in 12 months, and now he's like he's got the perfect sense of the people, the team, the players, all of it, all the vibe. He's got it all after one day on opening day. So. Why are we doing this at 8:30?
No.
Why are we bringing him in here? Why are we giving him a platform so he can get mad at us for not being out in the bad seats with him? What a world we live in. Enjoy Houston, Brock. Are they going to play or are they going to be on strike?
I think they're going to play. Yeah. I think the rain's going to wash through. I think the Battle Hawks and the in the rough.
No Beetle Hawks?
No Beetle Hawks. Battle Hawks and the Roughnecks will get after it, and your boy will be running around on the field and having some fun watching football.
Anytime the Battle Hawks and the Roughnecks get together, you can throw out the records, bro, because you know that's a rivalry for the ages. Have fun. We'll get back together on Monday, and we'll talk through this whole series and everything else together. Plus, next week, we start with Passan on Tuesday. We get back together with Daniel Jeremiah on Wednesday. So next week's going to be pretty fun. Have a good weekend, buddy. See you.
Sure. Okay.
All right, there you go. There goes Brock. He's off to call game for Fox this weekend. In the UFL, as we've mentioned, G will be stopping by for at least some time. I don't know if I can make it a whole 25 minutes with him today. We'll see. Coming up next, though, you got to see the full spectrum of one thing that we've talked a lot about yesterday, the pros, the cons, and everything in between. Next.
The John Schneider Show.
With Wyman and Bob.
Brought to you by Pizza Hut.
When you guys bring in free agents, then they leave and you don't sign them, probably unique to each one. But is it just something you learn in that conversation that you go, okay?
Yeah, a lot of different reasons. It could be medical, it could be personality, financial, how they're going to be a fit in the building, how much they love football, what kind of worker are they. Yeah, there's a whole interview process that I don't want to give out, actually.
Hear the rest of this interview on demand at seattlesports.com and on the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
You don't have to be a professional athlete to feel like a champion. At Emerald City Athletics, every person discovers the champion within. If you're setting personal records, tackling your daily goals, or aiming to be your best self, Emerald City Athletics will help you feel like the champion of your life. That's why they were voted the best in the Pacific Northwest. It's not just about fitness. It's about empowering you to step into your full potential so you can become your best self and feel the best you've ever felt. Each day at Emerald City Athletics is an opportunity to rise, to push beyond what you thought was possible, and to become stronger inside and out. Train for a goal, build confidence, embrace a healthier lifestyle. Emerald City Athletics will help you achieve greatness and find the champion within. Check out Emerald City Athletics today with a free 29-day pass, available now for a limited time. There are gyms, and there's Emerald City Athletics. Come discover the difference.
Need a new roof now? With State Roofing and Exteriors, you can get started with 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. That's right. Protect your home now and pay later. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today.
Discover LeMay, America's car museum in Tacoma. Explore 300 world-class cars, 100 years of history, and the Shinka exhibit with 50 iconic Japanese sports cars. Thrilling race simulators and fun for the whole family. Visit americascarmuseum.org.
Well, the longer days, the sunny breaks in the weather, they've got me dreaming of summer, right? Getting out in the golf course, heading on vacation, or just enjoying our beautiful Northwest region. Make this summer one to remember by looking and feeling your absolute best. You can do it, and if you start right now, you can accomplish that goal before Memorial Day weekend. It's Mike Salk here, and 45 days is all it takes. You can lose almost a pound each day. I lost 35 total with Eastside Weight Loss Clinic, and I'll let you in a little secret. Those 45 days, they're not even that hard. No crazy dieting, no cardio or crazy exercise. Definitely no pills or injections with any kind of potentially scary side effects. None of that. You're eating healthy, delicious meals that you make for yourself and buy at the grocery store, and you watch the pounds absolutely fall off. Find out if you can do it. I know you can. A 15-minute call is all it takes. No obligation. Schedule it right now at eastsideweightlossclinic.com. You got nothing to lose other than like a ton of weight. Go to eastsideweightlossclinic.com. Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
Did you know colon cancer can be detected early or prevented through regular screening?
I have detected Around Earth is the greatest lie ever.
Okay, Roger. My uncle just passed away and I inherited his cockatoo, Roger. He was a member of the Flat Earth Society, so Roger picked up on some of his rhetoric. Anyway, screening, such as a colonoscopy.
Screen these! Screen these!
Roger that, Roger. Moving on. Colonoscopies can detect early-stage colon or rectal cancer or even polyps, which are abnormal growths that can turn into cancer over time.
I'm a Flat Earth walker.
Come on, Roger. What did I do to my uncle to deserve you? You don't get to choose what you inherit, just like colon cancer. Unlike Roger here, I believe in science. And science says that if colon cancer runs in your family, you're more likely to develop it yourself. Talk to your doctor about when you should start screening. Find out more at coloncancercoalition.org. A message from the Colon Cancer Coalition.
Who's cutting down the nets this year? Get in on all the tournament action at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Go from tracking the latest upsets to placing bets in just a few taps. Right now, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code JQ to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Don't miss Good American Family.
We have a little girl here for adoption. She has dwarfism.
Starring Ellen Pompeo and Mark Duplass.
Something is off.
She's just a little girl.
You think she's faking? She has adult teeth. There are signs of puberty.
Inspired by the shocking stories that tore a family apart.
I don't know what's going on. How old are you? You should get a lawyer. You have no idea how those people hurt this girl.
The Hulu original series, Good American Family. New episodes Wednesdays, streaming on Hulu. This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Get in the freaking auto!
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
I don't read the internet, guys.
Take the bull by the hands.
And Brooke, you are. And Brooke, you are.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Heward and Mike Salk.
All right, cool to see the Mariners win last night. G. Scott will be in at 8:30. We'll talk to Shannon at 9, and then obviously get your thoughts on everything at 9:30 as we open up the phone lines to finish up our week as we do every week, and that should be fun. One of my favorite things about just having baseball back is that you get to have baseball debates. You get to just talk about the game and what did you see and the decisions that were made and how it plays out. And I thought that yesterday had a lot of that because I don't want to overstate what the Mariners' philosophy is because, I think we're still finding that out. But we do know they want to be aggressive. We do know that they want to play the game very aggressively. And I felt like last night you had a whole bunch of opportunities to see some of the pluses and minuses that come with trying to play the game that way. So I thought I'd run through a few of them. Lyle, I'm certainly welcome some of your reaction to this. But I thought you got to see almost the full spectrum of what happens when you're aggressive. So Ryan Bliss, let's just start with Ryan Bliss. I'm sorry, I screwed this up earlier because I was kind of running around from one place to another last night. But you have a steal attempt that ends up with a pop-up. Robles hit a pop-up, or maybe it was JP. And he sprints back to first base. Probably should have been out, right? I mean, he probably should have been out. Looked like, it's not quite an error, but like first baseman should have had it. And he should have been out. But instead, he's not. Then he steals second. And then you get a throw over the second baseman's head. And he ends up going to third and putting himself in a really good position to score. He doesn't on that play, But you got to see almost like that wide spectrum. Okay, he's stealing. It almost cost them an out. And then instead, it ends up getting him to third base without having to move the runner. So you just get that again, pros and cons, pluses and minuses to some of the aggressiveness. But I think I want to see Ryan Bliss stealing as soon as he's on first base, don't you? I'll take that swap every time. I want to see him being aggressive.
I think we know this team's going to be aggressive. In fact, I've heard people say I think they're going to be so aggressive that, I think the words we heard, this wasn't my words, but they're going to be so aggressive it could drive people crazy at times, which may be their identity. And when you have a Ryan Bliss that can run, it may be almost automatic with him. With Victor Robles, it may be almost automatic.
And you may be driving the other team crazy. That may be part of who you're trying to drive crazy, is the pitchers and players on the other team. Obviously, the next one will get kind of looked at to death, and that was just the ridiculous bunt from Polanco with 2 on and 1 out in the middle innings after he was already 2 for 2 in the game. Even if he wasn't, it just didn't make any sense. Is there any chance he wasn't trying to sacrifice, that he was trying to bunt for a hit?
I don't think so.
I don't either. It sure seemed like kind of a sacrifice kind of attempt. Maybe it was if I get it, great, but if not, it's a sacrifice. But I don't understand the value of it there to put second and third with 2 outs. That just doesn't feel like something this team needs to do.
Jorge Polanco is not the first guy that comes to mind when I think about bunting for a hit, where you've got to beat out a throw.
That too, especially coming off of the knee surgery, and he's been moved from second to third. None of that really makes a lot of sense. So I hope we don't see a lot more of that. It seemed really unnecessary. And as we played you the sound from Dan afterwards, it didn't sound like he was particularly wild about it. So again, it doesn't sound like that was a play that was called from the dugout. So that probably is one of 2 or 3 things. 1, he missed a sign. He read the sign wrong and thought he was supposed to bunt. 2, he didn't know the number of outs, and he thought that there was nobody out instead of 1 out, and he was trying to put second and third with 1 out, which is a much more, traditional baseball decision. Or 3, he's just doing it on his own, and while that's certainly not something the manager wants, it is set up a little bit, I think, by the kind of culture of aggressiveness. So that's another conversation. We'll see where that goes. The last one is Robles in, the 7th inning? As he comes up in that situation with first and second, nobody out. And that was, I'm sure, called for him to bunt. In that spot, it looks like you're trying to tie up the game, right? You're trying to put a man on third with nobody out. And did it work? Well, that's an interesting question. Did it? Did it work? He didn't get the bunt down. If you go back and kind of remember what happened, he tries to bunt the first pitch, strike 1. He tries to bunt the second pitch. It sure looked like a foul ball. Didn't you think in the moment that was a foul ball?
Yeah.
I did. And I think everyone else did. But the bat never touched the ball. Instead, it touched the glove, goes to the backstop. And credit to Ryan Bliss for running hard on the play, heads up play, gets the third. Credit to Christopher Negron for reading it all the way and sending him home. He's home. He should be safe. Instead, his foot bounces over the bag or over the plate, and he ends up out at home. All the while, JP goes to third and later scores on an 0-2, or maybe it was 1-2 by then, sac fly from Robles. Did you like it? You could almost talk through it 5 different ways. If that is a foul ball, or if the catcher just catches the ball, then it's 0-2, and now you've got Robles, who's one of your better hitters, in a hole of his own making and of your own making, which is certainly not what you want to do. On the other hand, you get a guy, you created a level of chaos. You forced the defense to have to make a play. And in this case, the bunting action or whatever it was made it hard for Langoliers to catch the ball. It goes to the backstop, and you should have scored. On the other hand, because of the way you decided to play it, his foot jumps over the plate, and he's out. Not a great result. On the other hand, JP gets all the way around to third and ultimately scores on the sac fly, so you tie it up. So was it a good play or not?
No. How often are we going to see guys get 2 bases on a pass ball?
Not often.
See, those right there.
You ended up kind of with the same scenario, man on third, one out. Right? Isn't that what you were trying to get to? Man on third, one out. It didn't happen the way you wanted it to.
I mean, I would personally prefer to see guys swing away and drive in multiple runs, but sure.
But they've said this is what they want to do: score one run in that spot, and they did. Dan was asked about it later because if you do get the bunt down, what happens?
Yeah, I mean, you don't know what they're going to do, so you kind of have to weigh everything at that point. That was one of the weirdest plays that I've seen. It turned out okay for us, and it was a great at bat, I think, by Vic to get that sac fly, and especially after sort of the letdown from the call, being overturned, to get that next run and to get that thing tied back up was big, and that was a big at bat for Vic.
Let's see, texts 425. It totally worked. It put pressure on the defense. He got there, the foot just popped up. 425, different 425. The Victor bunt worked. He made the wild pitch and advanced the runners, which led to the sac fly. So
all the old heads today are celebrating. I can just tell. All these
are they though? Because for the most part, what won them to get it was new school baseball that won them the game. Yeah. I mean, 3 of the 4 runs came off of the 7 walks and the 2 home runs. So was it old school baseball that won them the game?
No, it was, again, like you've talked about through the first couple hours today, it was walks and homers, and that's what's driving me a little crazy. Victor Robles is hitting at the top of this order because he was 55% above league average as a hitter last year. Personally, I want to see guys like that swing the bat.
Robles, 206 says, Robles' but this one's more on your side. His 2 bunt attempts were both at balls, and the A's pitcher couldn't throw a strike. Why is he bunting at anything? Just let the guy walk you around the bases.
And this is what I circle back to all the time,
Haven't he walked both Bliss and JP at that point?
Yeah.
He's thrown 2 walks in a row, and it does seem a little odd to then be like, hey, let's help this guy out by giving him an out.
Well, and to the point about trying to bunt at the balls, like this is what I get to all the time, too. Guys just do not practice bunting. I know the Mariners practice, and
Victor
you see them out pretty good.
Victor's a pretty good bunter in general. He did it a lot last year.
For the most part, you just don't see players.
Well, 253 is with you. Bad process, good result. They got lucky. We'll see where this goes over the rest of the series and the season. We'll come back with everything you need to know, and then maybe we'll get G's thoughts on all of this. It's next on Brock and Salk.
Seattle Sports, your home for Bump and Stacy. Weekdays 10 to 2.
Who's your leader on offense?
I think everyone points to Cooper Kupp. I mean, this guy has the most experience. He has the best career so far, but your quarterback's got to be the leader. You are so vocal. You're the most vocal player on offense. If you are not prepared, this offense stands no chance. So Cooper Kupp is going to be a leader, but Sam Darnold has to be that guy as well. If you make it to the NFL as a quarterback, you've shown that you have that in you.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Window Nation customers have been singing our praises for years. With fast, local service and an industry-leading 96% customer satisfaction rating, it's no wonder.
I researched window companies for the last year to see what the average prices were and the quality of work. Window Nation nailed both.
Get 2 windows free with every 2 you buy. Pay no interest for 2 full years. Hurry, this offer ends soon. Schedule a free estimate now. Call 866-90NATION or visit windownation.com. That's 866-90NATION.
Making fresh produce and food affordable and accessible to all is a mission Safeway is deeply committed to. G. Scott here. Your local Safeway has all the great benefits that SNAP-eligible families love, plus exclusive savings. Right now, save 50% on Fresh Pass memberships, plus get a monthly $5 credit, free unlimited delivery, $10 of free produce, and double rewards. Check out your Safeway For You app for all details and savings, or visit Safeway.com/SNAP for details.
Say, partner, what happens when you combine Truck Month with the March sales event at the West Hills Autoplex?
Oh boy, gift card with test drive, complimentary basketballs, free throw for savings, deals on trucks, Ford trucks, Chevy trucks, Ram, GMC, new trucks, used trucks, trucks and trucks and trucks and trucks.
Celebrate Truck Month and the March sales event at the West Hills Autoplex this weekend, part of the Hazelwood Auto Group.
Hazelwood has it.
Trucks and trucks and
By texting 64000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Real Success. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at ourrealsuccess.com.
Do you want to learn how to make money flipping houses and acquiring rental properties right here in Seattle? We're offering a handful of motivated individuals the opportunity to attend our workshop right here in Seattle for free. That's right, we'll give you 2 free tickets when you text FLIP to 64,000. Seattle is the perfect market to flip houses and build rental income. Discover the simple steps developed by Joe Arias, one of real estate's greatest rags to riches stories. You'll learn to flip properties and secure rental properties without using your own money and in your spare time. Don't miss this opportunity. Come to a complimentary live 2-hour workshop next week right here in Seattle and learn how to start making money flipping homes and building long-term wealth with rental properties. To get 2 free tickets, text FLIP to 64,000. Text in the next 10 minutes, and registrants will also receive a free copy of our Funding for Deals guide. Text FLIP to 64,000 for 2 complimentary tickets. Text FLIP to 64,000.
Get 5 quarts of O'Reilly Full Synthetic Motor Oil and a MicroGuard oil filter for $29.99. In-store only. Limit supply.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
How can you free your team from time-consuming office tasks? Amazon Business. Smart business buying tools enable buyers to find and purchase items fast so they can focus on strategy and growth. Free up your team and focus on your future. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
We were the Humane Society of the United States. 70 years of fighting for animals. Today, we are called Humane World for Animals, a name that reflects our unstoppable commitment to end animal cruelty globally. Humane World for Animals, the end of animal cruelty.
Heading outdoors or on the water this weekend? Check in with Joey and Nelly on the Outdoor Line from 6 to 8 a.m. every Saturday on Seattle Sports and the Seattle Sports app.
Bob Stelton here for Asset Roofing, and they have got the perfect slogan. You're either hiring a liability or you're hiring an asset, and I witnessed this firsthand when I met Anthony, the owner, and again when I had him do work on my roof. Now this spring, replace your aging roof with Asset Roofing because you're either hiring a liability or you're hiring an asset. Check them out at AssetRoofingCo.com. That's AssetRoofingCo.com.
Certified work that's never in doubt. Asset Roofing, excellence is on the house.
The Lee Johnson culture to me is empowering all of your employees to do the right thing because it's the right thing to do. You know, there are certain things that it doesn't matter what level of employment you are in our organization. If it's not the right thing or it doesn't feel right, they have the ability to take care of the customer and make the decision without asking a manager, without asking an owner. The end result is they can speak to the customer with more confidence. They're definitely more confident in what they're trying to provide the customer, what the customer is trying to accomplish, and just giving them a better experience.
His name is Justin Meek. He's the leader and caretaker of more than 300 full-time employees for the Lee Johnson Auto family. It's the united understanding among Lee Johnson employees that customers are the purpose of our day. The LJ Way is the Lee Johnson Auto.
Mariners baseball is officially back. Don't miss the biggest games at T-Mobile Park this season, like marquee matchups against the Yankees and Dodgers. Ichiro Hall of Fame weekend, August 8th through 10th. 6 fireworks nights and a stacked lineup of bobbleheads, Funko Pops, and exclusive giveaways. Plus, with Mariners value games, you can score seats starting at $10 on select dates all season long. Go to mariners.com/tickets to lock in your seats today.
A deep blast. This is gone. Home run. Julio.
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Nothing better than having baseball back, and it certainly was yesterday. Tremendous opening night in so many ways, but obviously the Mariners coming away with a little comeback win, some chaos ball late, but early, it was all Logan Gilbert. He was phenomenal. Goes 7 innings, dominates, 8 strikeouts, only 2 hits, no walks. He only threw 83 pitches to get through those 7 innings. Just tremendous work. And that was what was important to him. Always a team player.
Oh, it feels good. I mean, first guy, you want to go deep in the game. You want to be, take care of the bullpen as much as you can and try to keep them fresh for the rest of the series. So I'm really happy about that. I always want to go deep in the game and start off on the right foot. And most importantly, I felt like I was attacking hitters and getting ahead. So that's when I feel like I'm doing my job.
Well, he certainly did his job and a whole lot more last night. Just gave up the one solo shot. As for the offense, yeah, it looked pretty much the same. Very sluggish early, but Randy Arozarena just lit a whole fire under the whole team with his home run in the 8th inning. And a few minutes later, it was a guy that didn't get a lot of fanfare when he signed again this offseason, but Jorge Polanco was doing damage.
And the 2-2 to Polanco, swinging a drive deep to straightaway center. Blade going back to the one he tracked to the wall. Leaps up, it's gone. Goodbye, baseball. Jorge Polanco with a 2-run drive unties it. It's the Mariners 4, the A's 2 here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Jorge Polanco's first home run of the season, second for the Mariners, and both coming here in the bottom of the 8th. 3 runs are in. The Mariners lead it 4-2. Holy smokes, what an inning, and what a return for Jorge Polanco. He gets the trident over there by the Mariners' first base dugout.
He sure did, and part of a 3-hit night for Polanco. He only had 3 3-hit games all of last year. He does it in opening day this season. Pretty cool. Game 2 tonight, Luis Castillo against the lefty, Jeffrey Springs. So a little curious to see whether the lineup looks the same, as we've been told that Dan would prefer to have a little bit more stability in that lineup, or whether or not there's some changes. Will we see Solano? Will we see Mitch Garver? Something to watch for later tonight.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
As good as all of that was, and it was, I really enjoyed just all of the lead up to opening day and just the ceremonies that took place. The girl from the Make-A-Wish Foundation running the bases, stopping at each base and just soaking it in, waving to the crowd going crazy, the players coming out, JP and Julio and Bryce Miller, and I don't know, that gets me every time. It was great last year. It was great this year. Just a really cool moment. Love the ovation for Cal Raleigh as he was presented with the Platinum Glove, and also I thought he got the biggest hand of the night just when he was introduced. There's no doubt that there is just a relationship between Cal and the fan base, and obviously that was strengthened this past week as he signs the 6-year deal. And yes, Ichiro, coming out, full uniform, gunning 84 miles an hour. Dan Wilson was asked by Shannon afterwards how it was catching that pitch.
It was gasoline, I'll tell you that. I was glad I caught it, but awesome night for that, too.
Dude's throwing 84. I mean, if Ichiro really, I don't know, do you think he could get it up to 9? I bet he could. Unbelievable. Anyway, elsewhere in the AL West, not that we're scoreboard watching yet, but Astros beat the Mets, Rangers fall to Boston, Angels lose after starting Yusei Kikuchi on opening day. Go figure, they get beat 9-1 by the White Sox, and obviously the A's lose as well. So just the Mariners and the Astros win yesterday.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
Kraken won also after just abysmal games against the Edmonton Oilers. They finally took out all their frustration. They score 5 times in the second period. Here was Yanni Newman, who had one of them.
JT, that gives me something to do tonight after the post-game celebration. Larson now. How about that, Yanni Newman? With a stick out in front. At the goal, you never know. 3-0, Kraken.
Yeah, it ended up being 5-0, and then they go on to win 6-1. Goals from, well, just about everybody, it seems like. But as he said, Newman, 2 for Jaden Schwartz, 1 for Matty Beniers, 1 for Andre Burakovsky, and 1 for Jared McCann. Adam Silver spoke yesterday from the NBA Board of Governors meetings. No, there's no great news in here for Seattle, but no bad news either, other than just that this thing is still on hold. And here's what Silver had to say.
We want to make sure we put teams in a position, particularly as we're setting the price, to be in a position to be competitive, economically successful, and just as importantly for the other teams, successful on the floor. And the issue I would not have anticipated at the time I sort of began talking about the timeline is how much unknown there is about local media right now. You know, having said that, though, I would just say again to our many fans in Seattle, and I hear from them often, and you know, the legacy of the Sonics is still very strong, and it's a fantastic basketball market, is that we are very focused on it. The fact I think that I'm not being more sort of forthcoming publicly doesn't mean we're not studying it very intensively. We don't take those fans for granted.
Appreciate that. Does feel like it's going to end up being 20 years, though, before it's all said and done, and that is really a long time. That's everything you need to know. 1:15 every hour here on the Brock and Salk Show. I do like that we're getting just a lot of baseball texts in general. 425 says, wasn't it just situational baseball? Through 7 innings, the Mariners' offense was status quo. They were running out of innings. If that isn't the time to play aggressive baseball, then I don't know when is. Runners in motion and bunting to help move the runners is a good play. That's what Dan said he wanted. I'm not sure I understand. Running out of innings? They weren't, they were running out of time. I see what you mean. I read that originally as like they were running themselves out of innings. They were running out of time. I guess, but it was also 2 home runs that ended up kind of doing the damage that they needed to win the game. I don't know. Kind of go back and forth on that. I see both sides of this one, but I'm probably going to side more with Lyle in general. But I'll say this, again, trying to get a lot of hits and string them together in this ballpark in March and April is not going to be easy. If you need to do something different to try to juice your offense, I'm not going to be able to sit here and criticize the thought. At least you're trying something rather than just going back to the same well over and over again. I don't know. We still got a whole season to try to figure this out. So I'm not going to go too crazy after one game. All right. G has been, he's here. I can tell you that. I can feel his presence. I can smell his new cologne, and he'll be in for a half hour. Coming up next on Brock and Salk.
Blue 88 on Brock and Salk.
How does the McDonald-Schneider tandem look like the Carroll-Schneider tandem in terms of figuring out who they want to have play here?
Every day at 7:45.
I think it's a little bit different, Salk, because certainly they both say the same thing. We want guys that love football, but the optics and the lens through which Pete Carroll looks at that and Mike McDonald look at that are different because their wiring is very, very different.
Blue 88, answering 3 football questions as only Brock Heward can.
Swedish CyberKnife is expanding. Dave Wyman with exciting news about Swedish adding a second CyberKnife in Seattle. CyberKnife is a non-invasive, extremely precise prostate cancer radiotherapy treatment. Compared with other radiation therapies, which last 6 to 9 weeks, the CyberKnife treatment period is much shorter, typically 5 days with daily sessions under an hour. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish CyberKnife. Swedish.org/CyberKnife prostate.
Today, a 19-year-old girl was kidnapped. I'm gonna bring her home.
Jason Statham is a working man.
Where's the girl? You a cop? You wish I was a cop.
From the director of The Beekeeper.
This is human trafficking.
You do this, better go full on.
Is that a grenade?
Yep.
You ain't a cop. You're a working man.
That's right. Time to get to work.
A Working Man. Rated R. Under 17. Not admitted without parent. Now playing only in theaters.
Okay, I have to tell you. I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest. The last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the...
Designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your...
Windshield wipers. eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying. Just beautiful.
Whatever you love, find it on eBay. eBay. Things people love.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
So, how's your research going?
Surprising! After
After I figured out the top-rated TVs in our price range, I went shopping for deals.
And who's the best?
It wasn't the internet, and it wasn't the warehouse club.
But?
It was video only. They had better deals on the Samsung, LG, and the Sony TVs that got the highest scores.
Better than online and at the club?
I know! Video only beat them all. And now we can afford an even better model for the same price. My research really paid off.
If we buy it video only.
Exactly. Otherwise, we'll be sorry.
At Video Only, you won't find huge stores with refrigerators or microwaves, but you will find the best deals on top-rated TVs, soundbars, and monitors. Shop around. Just make sure you visit Video Only, because if you don't,
you'll be sorry.
In South Center, Bellevue, Linwood, Federal Way, and Tacoma, Video Only.
This is Steve Amman, president of Pacific Power Batteries. And when we hear oy vey, zut alors, or oofda, we know that battery prices are high these days. Our job is to control our costs and offer a great value to you. We tried calling our vendors to ask them to stop raising prices, but they haven't returned our calls. Whether it's a brand new battery, a reconditioned battery with a 90-day guarantee, or a factory second with a 1-year guarantee, we'll have something for your budget. So stop in at any Pacific Power Battery store, and we promise to help you.
The noon hour of the Bump and Stacy Show is powered every day by the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law Personal Injury Lawyers. Go to pendergastlaw.com.
Paid political advertisement. Did you know insurance companies don't always pay what they should when your car is totaled? Too many Washington drivers are forced to accept lowball payouts or pay out of pocket for repairs their insurance should cover. But SB 5721 can change that. This bill holds insurers accountable, ensuring they provide fair vehicle valuations and cover the full cost of repairs. It also creates a simple, fast dispute resolution process, so you don't have to fight alone. Stand up for fair coverage. Visit fairautoclaims.com to contact your lawmakers and tell them support Senate Bill 5721, sponsored by the Washington Independent Collision Repairers Association.
Get ready for an unforgettable adventure at LeMay, America's Car Museum in Tacoma. Marvel at over 300 world-class automobiles and 100 years of history. Don't miss the Shinka exhibit, featuring nearly 50 iconic Japanese sports cars. Feel the thrill of driving a Formula One car on the exhilarating race simulators. There's fun for everyone, so grab your friends or the whole family and plan your visit Thursday to Monday. Learn more at americascarmuseum.org.
I was in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean when it happened. There was a sudden jolt and our submarine crashed on the seafloor. We were in total darkness.
That's Dr. Dejana Figueroa, a marine biologist and STEM teacher, talking about a deep sea dive she'll never forget.
It's funny, when I was a kid, I was afraid of the ocean. And there I was, 2 miles below the surface. But as a scientist, you prepare for that. Using our training and a little creativity, we fixed the sub and finished our experiments. The dive was just too important. Every dive gives us glimpses at things few people ever get to see. Glowing creatures, fiery undersea volcanoes. When we got back to the surface, I kissed the ground and called my mom, of course. But you know what? I wouldn't trade that dive for anything.
Dr. Figueroa uses her passion for STEM to discover new things and make the world a better place. She can STEM, so can you. Check out She Can STEM for more stories and inspiration. A message from the Ad Council.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Oh, the people getting what they want today. If it is truly what they want, they've got it.
Come on. Come on now.
Come on.
Hey, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Man, what's good? First of all, there's so much. I only want to talk Mariners today.
No, we can't. We've got one other thing we've got to talk about. Okay. I'm sorry. We've got to talk about Pro Day.
Okay.
We got to talk about your family. We can do mostly Mariners, but do not let G leave here without talking about how his son absolutely destroyed it at Ohio State Pro Day this week. G was there. I got to hear more about that. Okay. So do not make sure, Lyle, please, Maura, hold us accountable. Yeah. I need at least 5 minutes of the next 25 to talk about Ohio State Pro Day and Baby G.
Okay. Before we talk about the Mariners and what happened inside of T-Mobile Park and a phenomenal win 4-2 against
you want to first talk about how you're a jerk?
I want to first talk about the fact that, listen, y'all, these guys were in the suite, hanging out. I didn't have no tickets. I could not get into the stadium. But look,
did you ask someone?
Yes.
Never.
Finally, I had to ask somebody.
Who?
Kevin Martinez.
You went to Martinez?
Yeah, heck
Why
yeah.
didn't you ask someone here?
Because nobody loves me here.
Why don't you ask Arlene?
Hey, you guys had hamburgers, chicken nuggets. You guys had all the food. Matter of fact, Arlene saw me yesterday, right? She see, oh, gee, let me see. Oh, that's a nice jacket. And so I'm thinking, this is gonna be it.
Yeah.
Arlene's gonna say, hey, G, I got a spot for you.
No.
And she don't give me a damn
You
spot.
gotta ask for it. Also, let me ask you a question.
What?
Where do you work?
In this building.
Let me ask you
Wait
again.
a minute, in this
building. Where in this building do you work?
Like 20 feet away from you.
I know that. Do you work for the sports station?
Yeah.
You do not.
Every Friday.
You don't work here.
Every Friday at 8:30.
You come in here and bother us. That's not the same as working here.
Listen, if you guys, listen, y'all. If you guys are listening, let me just tell you. Yesterday, it ended up being a better day because Kevin Martinez came through. But all I kept thinking about was my friends. And I thought that Mike Salk, I thought that Mara, I thought that all of them were my friends. They were relaxing.
We're not.
They were chill. What?
We're not your friends.
Leave me out of this. I was in no suite.
You notice I didn't say Lyle.
I want to be clear about something. I just want to be very clear.
Salk and I were there for all of maybe an hour and a half because we have to get up at 4 a.m. So
True.
we were there and then we were gone.
Let me be very clear about something.
Yeah.
Poor G. This poor guy.
Yeah.
This poor guy it's so sad that when he couldn't get tickets with us in the suite, he had to call the president of the Mariners to get him tickets. Man, what a sad story for G. Scott. What a sob story. Do we have violins or a sad cello or something?
Maybe not on the spot,
guy,
but it makes me think of the Mr. Krabs thing for anybody that gets the SpongeBob reference. It's like, let me play you a sad song on the world's smallest violin.
This poor guy who needed to call the president of the Mariners to get him tickets for the game.
I'm just.
You're really a man of the people.
No, don't do that. Because like I said, I thought that I had friends in this building. And so
No, you're too cool. You're friends with the president.
I was standing outside right there, home plate. Matter of fact, there was some dude there was standing there with a sign and he was preaching. And yeah, I was talking to him for a second. Anyway, he was preaching right there by home plate. If y'all seen that.
Yeah.
Or you know what I'm saying?
The megaphone.
And so then I had a sign. And I'm like, please, can I have tickets? Can I have tickets? And then that lets you know what kind of organization the Mariners are, to which they look down out the window, and they say, man, somebody get him some tickets.
You think Kevin's out there like Marie Antoinette looking down at the people?
He looked, yes, looking at the people.
Let them eat cake?
That's what I'm saying. So anyways, I just want to say that I had an argument with you guys yesterday. Can we bring that up?
Well, no, not yet.
Okay.
Not until you apologize to me. We're not doing anything until you apologize. You
are starting off hot
You are the worst. You really are sometimes. You have been subtweeting about me and lying about me at the same time.
I did subtweet about you and the people, because my man Randy Arozarena, who I call Randy Watson. And if you're listening right now and you get that reference, Randy Watson, life is good for you. Anyways, I call him Randy Watson because instead of the bat flip, my man, he just threw that bat down. And then when he got to third base, he hit it with the bowling. He got him at third. And so I put it out there and I was like, I love it. Wait. There's somebody that I know who's, tradition of baseball, and he won't like it. And so to which some of your listeners were like, yeah, ask Mike Salk about that tomorrow.
Yeah. And what did I start off the show with today, Lyle? How much I loved Randy, how much I loved what he did, how much I loved the energy. In fact, I asked Brock which of the 4 parts to it he liked best. Was it the spike? Was it waving to the crowd like a defensive end coming around second base, trying to get the crowd amped up? Was it the little jump shot at third?
Yeah.
Or was it the trident thing at the end? Like, dude, get out of here.
You like Randy?
Randy might be my favorite player in the team. I don't want to hear it out of you.
But by the way, your listeners, JD in the 509 said, that boy good.
Don't you lie to the people about what I think.
Hey, man, look, so
there's nothing worse than having somebody argue with you for opinions you don't have. There's nothing worse.
Look, by the way, I met a lot of people yesterday that listened to your show, right? Nobody, when I was out, you're going to ask me about my son. Did nobody ask me about my son?
No?
Did nobody ask me about my life? Did nobody ask me how I'm doing?
They didn't ask you about Lillian's bread?
No, they just asked me, are you going to be on with Mike Salk tomorrow? I'm like, really? Like, what do you guys like? I mean, you guys understand that this relationship that we have, this same Mike Salk, who I thought was my friend, did not even get his boy some tickets.
I didn't have any tickets. I got my daughter one ticket. I used my press pass to get in last night. Do you have a press pass?
No.
Is that because you don't work here at this station?
I do work here.
You don't. If you did, you'd have a press pass. What's the name of the station you work at? Let's see. This is a test to see if you.
Bonneville.
What's the name of the
we got the. Okay, yes or no? Do we got the same boss and boss lady? Yes or no?
Not direct
no,
boss.
No.
We have the same grand boss.
No.
Who is your direct boss? Is it no, it isn't.
Boss lady.
You have a boss in between just because you don't recognize him. Just because you don't recognize or like that Brian has some authority over you.
Who's that, Brian? Boss lady is the boss. Yes or no? Is she our boss of the building?
She runs the building, but she's not our direct boss because we work at different stations.
Boss lady is the boss.
Right.
Arlene is one of the bosses upstairs. She's one of them. Yeah. I got to find out.
Arlene's everybody's boss, really. She's Kathy's boss, as far as I could tell.
Oh, okay.
Arlene kind of runs the place. We all know that.
You said that, not me.
Well, I think Kathy would say that. She knows how powerful Arlene is. Nobody would dare mess with her.
What else?
What did you think? So, what did you think last night? Did you have fun?
I really had a great time. One of the things that really stood out to me yesterday, and I was wrong about something because you guys, I was like, well, the expectations for Mariners to be good and go to the playoffs, it isn't like the Seahawks. And then you guys kind of pushed back on me yesterday, and I was arguing back and forth. At the game yesterday, Mike Salk, because I had an opportunity, we were doing man on the street interviews. I talked to a lot about
for the
25 people. Yeah, for the reset, the podcast. And in doing so, I learned something. The passion for Mariner baseball is different than football. And let me explain. Mariner baseball passion is like, you ever had that one friend that keeps waiting for that relationship to work, or keeps waiting for that person to propose to them, or keeps waiting for this person to be fixed, and they're desperate for this relationship to work out, and you keep trying to tell them, hey, come on, let's just move on, and they just keep wanting to be in that relationship. That's the way I see Mariner fans when it comes to Mariner baseball. There's a lot of people that just keep holding on. You keep holding on, and you pray that he will stop going to Vegas with his homeboys. And you pray that she will stop dating other men. You just want her to be with you, and that's how Mariner fans are. They want the Mariners to be with them.
You know who you are? You know who you sound like sometimes?
Who?
One of your favorite people. President of the United States currently. You got that same thing where you're just like you're shocked to find out about something that everybody already knows. Like, hey, did you guys know Mariner fans are really into it, but also they're kind of frustrated that they haven't won? This is news to me. I hadn't heard about this. That's huge. That's what you sound like right now. You sound like you're just all of a sudden discovering.
Do you guys have anything on the docket today that you're going to agree on?
Probably not. I'm just doubtful.
Son.
We're going to get to that. We're a couple minutes away from getting to that. No, seriously, no kidding, man. Where you been?
Yeah.
I'm sure you figured that out with all the 15 games that you went to last year and all that.
Hey, one more thing.
All right.
Now, listen, all you Mariner fans, and I don't know how you guys feel about this. I have a feeling that you might get upset at what I'm going to say.
Uh-oh.
Yesterday, before the game, they were honoring those. They got some awards and all that kind of stuff before Ichiro got up there to throw out the first pitch. Cal Raleigh. I got to ask y'all something about Cal Raleigh, who, by the way, excellent catcher. I had an opportunity to interview Cal Raleigh in the very beginning when he first got here. Cool dude. I'm going to tell y'all something I can't get with. I'm a grown man. I am not calling another grown man Big Dumper. I saw that come across the screen. Why do they call him Big Dumper?
So the
fact, why do they call him Big Dumper?
Well,
I'm not calling another grown. Nobody, you wouldn't call a WNBA player nothing about a Big Dumper. I take offense to y'all calling another man Big Dumper.
Well, so it came from his teammates.
What happened?
It started with his teammates. Jared Kelenic actually started the whole thing, I think. We think it was Kelenic. He's certainly the one who made it public for the first time. But it sure seemed like he was the one who started it. he was asked, why do you call him the Big Dumper? And he said, well, I think it's kind of self-explanatory. Like, the man's the Big Dumper. It's just who he is.
You can't do that.
Why?
You can't do that. You couldn't do that in this building. Marin will come down with the manila envelope. You can't call somebody Big Dumper. Matter of fact, none of y'all can go to work right now. HR will be all over you if you said, hey, this is my Big Dumper coworker. You can't do that.
Yeah, it's all right. It works for Cal.
Yeah, but in sports, you start talking about people's power sources and
No, that's
like
Brock.
things that you wouldn't do in a normal. No, I hear a draft analyst doing it
And
too.
you don't do any of that?
No, I don't be talking about nobody.
Never look at the prospect and look at any of their attributes?
I didn't look at that with my wife.
That's not true.
When I met my wife for the first time,
liar.
I did not look at any part of that going on.
You didn't look at any of her attributes?
No. Just her personality.
You just happened to luck into having a beautiful wife?
Her personality.
It just totally lucked out.
And
wow. What incredible luck you have.
And our first date was at Anthem Coffee downtown Puyallup. And I love the fact that she was okay with going for coffee. Matter of fact, she paid for the coffee. So I didn't look at any of her attributes, her personality only. And so I am going to sign a petition that I don't think it is right to call another man Big Dumper.
Right.
It is an HR violation. It should not be happening. When I see that on the screen, you got little kids.
Good luck with your petition.
You got little kids sitting there.
Yeah.
Mom, Dad, why do they call Cal Raleigh the Big Dumper? To which you're like, well,
the horror.
Let me explain the birds and the bees. And, you know what I'm saying?
The horror of having to explain the Big Dumper to him. What a disaster. All right, speaking of kids, can you give me a couple minutes on Baby G? So you went out to Columbus this week where he had his pro day.
Yeah.
So just so people, just to kind of give the facts to get people up to speed. G's kid, Baby G, played at Eastside Catholic here as a wide receiver, was one of the top recruits in the country, went to Ohio State, ended up in that wide receiver room with all of those dudes, Olave and Jackson Smith and all of them, and ended up transitioning to being a tight end, and now has just graduated. Well, didn't just graduate, but he's out of eligibility, and he's been working to get ready for the NFL, was not invited to the Combine, so we didn't have an opportunity to see him run or jump or any of that at the Combine, but he was at Pro Day, and he's hoping to get drafted. So how'd he do?
Fantastic. He did very well. In what he was supposed to do, he ran a 4.6 flat in the 40, bench press 25. That would have been third at the Combine for tight ends.
That's great. That's 225?
220. He benched
225 25 times?
25
That
times.
is legit.
Yeah.
I bet you that's more than a lot of offensive linemen do.
He did really well. You know, the reason why I didn't want to talk about it, because there's a few things that happened to me when the topic of him comes up.
Okay.
And it changes my energy. So I didn't want to go with the tough stuff. But I'll share this part with you guys. You know, the whole transition from wide receiver to tight end, thinking that would be good. While I don't believe that the switch from wide receiver to tight end was the best for his football career, I do believe that the switch from wide receiver to tight end was the best for his life. Nothing has made him grow up more. That transition happens. First of all, it's already hard to play college football. That transition happens. 2 months later, his mom dies. 3 months later, and I'll share something with you guys. 3 months later, he left the team, right? Like, when I say left the team, I mean he jumps in his car and quits and leaves. Made it to Indianapolis. He's in Indianapolis. He's in a parking lot. Someone calls the police on him being in a car. Police officer shows up. When he shows up, obviously, I know him now, this amazing police officer sees my son in distress, right? That police officer takes my son home with him. They go to his house. My son spends the night at his house with his family. And then afterwards, they drive him back. Things didn't get immediately better. But what I'm trying to explain to you guys is his journey and what he has gone through to persevere to not transfer, to not quit, Ryan Day giving him another chance, going through all that, becoming a starter his last year there, winning a national championship, and then right when he did not get the invite to the combine, he says to me, well, there's that God of mine up there basically saying, well, if I wanted you at the combine, you'd be at the combine. So he was fine with that, right? And so he goes to Pro Day, shows out, does his thing, and we'll see what happens in April. April 24th through the 26th will be the draft. If he gets drafted, I'll share with you guys some really cool stuff that happened the other day. And this was pretty cool, right? He calls me up and he says, hey, Dad, I'm going to be coming out to Seattle. And I'm like, oh, okay, what's going on? He's like, well, I get an opportunity to go work out April 10th, you know what I'm saying, go to the Seahawks to get a workout, you know what I mean? So that's pretty cool.
Is that like a 30 visit, or is it just,
no,
a local
I think it's
workout thing?
a local workout.
Yeah, yeah.
So an opportunity to do that. So why did I tell that whole story? Here's my point. Everything that he's doing now is playing with house money. And for all you all know, you guys know what that means when you're playing. He's playing with house money. Everything that's happening right now is extra, is bonus.
You also, I mean, the story is incredible, and he's a pretty incredible kid, and not surprising given that he's raised by a pretty incredible dad. And I've already given you enough grief here over the first 20 minutes of our time together.
Fair.
I'll throw a little bone your way as well, because G's done a pretty darn good job with his two sons, and
appreciate it.
It's something to be incredibly proud of. Anyway, you mentioned that you're not sure it was the right thing for him to do football-wise. And I remember at the time a lot of the conversation that you had about the future of the game and tight end, this and that. Why do you say that now? Is it because this happens to be a really good tight end class and not a very good wide receiver class?
No, that's not why I say it.
What is it?
Because I think that he was a natural wide receiver. Like, he's no doubt about it. He was pretty good at being a wide receiver. Now, the reason for him to jump from wide receiver to tight end was, I've shared before, it was the conversation that I had with a friend, and after that conversation, we talked about it, talking about how this would be good for him to make that move. I'm telling you this now after the fact when we look back on it, and something that he and I share. I think my son would have been and excelled and had a much more productive career as a wide receiver than tight end. However, if he would have stayed being a wide receiver, he would have then transferred to another school to go do it. And then when you start transferring and you start switching things, that's when things get different. So when I say...
Well, and especially for a guy that was in the situation he was in, right? I mean, ultimately, he probably needed some of that stability of being in the same place.
There you go.
Yeah.
It wasn't as good for his career, football, but it was better for his life.
So what's the hope now? I mean, I don't know what the late rounds of the draft look like. Is he 5th, 6th, 7th round pick?
I would say he will be late 6th to 7th.
Okay.
Or if that doesn't happen, he will go undrafted and I think he'll be a top priority free agent.
Yeah.
So he gets the opportunity to pick where he goes. So when you do that, if you go undrafted, you start to look at what are the best fits for me. Like when Jermaine Kearse went undrafted, or like when Doug Baldwin went undrafted, when Mike Bennett went undrafted. You try to say, okay, let's look at the rosters, see what the needs are, see what's going on, and you just kind of pick from there.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I mean, it's pretty cool ride. What was it? What was Pro Day like? Were you active in it, or were you just there hanging out for a couple days?
I was just. Well, I got to hang out with him the day before, and then during Pro Day itself, I'm in a corner with all the other parents. You know what I'm saying?
And that's sort of the last hurrah for that, huh?
Yeah.
All the parents that you've gotten to know over the years at Ohio State. That's your last. That's the last activity.
And the cool part about hanging out in the corner where we were inside of the Woody, the practice facility, is that we were in the corner up under the 2024 National Championship banner, right? And so we parents, and here's something like that you don't realize when that happens, right? When that happens and they win it and people keep asking, oh, how did it feel? And I was like, it felt good. It felt good they won, right? The pressure's gone. But being back there, seeing the national championship banner, seeing the pictures, seeing my son on some of those pictures, it finally hit me. It hit me that, that's forever, baby. That's his kids, my grandkids. Like that will remain forever. Matter of fact, the movie Forever.
Hey, real quick.
Sandlot. By the way, I used to Squint's sister.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Since I know you said you mostly want to talk Mariners today, but I got to ask you. The New York Giants football quarterback room?
Oh, Jameis? I can't wait.
Jameis and Russ in the same room? Maybe with Shador?
All I know. No, I agree.
Gee.
The only thing, so what is the first thing I thought when I found out that Jameis and now Russell will be in the same quarterback room? I don't know what y'all thought. I'll tell you what I thought first. The first thing is, as soon as Russell tries to give a pregame speech to the position group, to which Jameis going to say, hey, Russ, let me do the pregame speech.
How quickly will that roster demand that Jameis start over Russ?
I don't know.
I think it's going to be pretty quick.
I don't know.
I just, and I'm not a Jameis fan for many, many reasons, but the way he connects with his teammates versus the way Russ connects with his, really hard for me to imagine that's not going to be a very messy situation. All right, buddy. You're going to head back over to your station now. It's a different station than this station. Why don't you head over to your station?
I'm going to call boss lady and ask her if she sees me in that way to where it's a difference. I thought she looked at all the kids the same in the building.
Well, they're all even and equal. It's just that they, have different perks and different parts to their, jobs.
You know what I'm going to say on the way out?
Yeah.
Y'all ready for this? DEI! Let's go!
I don't even know what that means, but we're going to take a quick break. We'll come back. Shannon Drayer will be here. We'll talk with Shannon about last night's game, and we'll do more with G next week. It's Brock and Salk, Seattle Sports on 710.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob. Weekdays 2 to 7.
The Mariners making a move to lock up part of their core in Cal Raleigh. This is somebody you drafted, you developed, one of the great catchers in the game. You keep that guy around. He's a leader in the clubhouse. He's everything you'd want in a player. He's everything you'd hope when you draft a young player that they're going to turn into something close to this. And you got it.
Cal could probably get a lot more money on the open market, but he wants to stay here. I think Mariner fans are going to love him forever.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Window Nation customers have been singing our praises for years. With fast, local service and an industry-leading 96% customer satisfaction rating, it's no wonder.
I researched window companies for the last year to see what the average prices were and the quality of work. Window Nation nailed both.
Get 2 windows free with every 2 you buy. Pay no interest for 2 full years. Hurry, this offer ends soon. Schedule a free estimate now. Call 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com. That's 866-90-NATION.
At Uline, they know firsthand the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement, and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hard-working partners. So they keep 41,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding cross-country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit uline.com.
Welcome to Staples.
I hear Staples prints it all for any business.
You bet, and we'll beat any print quote.
So if I had a pizza place...
Staples can print signs, menus, pizza boxes.
A landscaping business?
Oh, we can print yard signs, T-shirts, brochures.
How about a pizza/landscaping business? I'll call it Dough and Mo.
I like it.
Right now at Staples, get up to $250 off your print purchase. Ends 4/5, exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for offer details. Price match guarantee valid in store and staples.com/print. Visit staples.com/price match for details.
These days, figuring out what, where, and how to watch TV is out of control. And so is the cost. That's why I'm psyched I found Philo. Live TV from A&E, Discovery, MTV, and all the channels I love. A huge library of movies and shows. And an unlimited DVR to save them. I also get AMC Plus and all their blockbuster hits. All this for just $28 a month when you sign up at philo.tv. Give it a try, risk-free at philo.tv.
With Progressive Snapshot, you could save on auto insurance rates by driving safely, which is nice because you can just keep doing you. So keep on using that broken phone charger because it occasionally works. Keep quoting something you heard on a podcast as your own. Keep ignoring your sister's texts while you drive and after. And when baggage claim says, have a great trip, keep on saying, you too. And keep driving safely. And you could save with Snapshot from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Snapshot not available in California or from all agents. Surcharge possible for unsafe driving.
T-Mobile home internet is all about speed, value.
What you doing, Zach?
First thing, there are so many benefits. You got to talk fast.
T-Mobile home internet ranks #1 in customer satisfaction for home wireless internet by J.D. Power.
Wow, you are good.
Try singing it. T-Mobile has price lock.
They won't raise your rate on internet.
Hulu and Paramount Plus on them.
Get T-Mobile home internet all in for just $55 a month with auto pay and any postpaid voice line.
Additional terms apply. For J.D. Power 2024 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards.
Hello, Seattle. It's your friendly neighbor, the T-Mobile Park roof. From up here, I can see it all. Folks pouring in from the street, the sun setting over the sound, the roar of the crowd as Luis Castillo pumps his fist, and the joy of the J-Rod squad as Julio snares a deep fly ball at the wall.
He reaches up with a leap and he makes the catch!
And all the faces smiling with every perfectly grilled hot dog and swirl of soft serve. When the final out's made, I'll be right up here, lighting the W and soaking it all in. Mariners baseball. Try it inside.
Be here for the Mariners opening homestand at T-Mobile Park. The fun continues all weekend with Randy Arozarena Crossed Arm Hoodie Night tonight at 6:40, Hello Kitty Bucket Hat Night tomorrow at 6:40, and Little League Day Sunday at 1:10. Don't miss out. Get your tickets and check out everything on deck at mariners.com.
Do you want to lose weight fast and keep it off? I'm Dr. Ryan Coogan with Eastside Weight Loss Clinic, and I have a plan that has helped over 4,000 people in the Seattle-Tacoma area lose up to a pound per day. No surgery, no exercise, no box packaged food, and no drugs or injections with potential side effects. We have a team of health coaches that can support you every step of the way. Schedule your free 15-minute, no-pressure phone consultation online at eastsideweightlossclinic.com and also see our incredible before and after transformations.
Well, and I'm one of those 4,000 people. I'm incredibly proud of my transformation. It started with just a 15-minute phone call where I learned how easy the program was and decided that it was right for me. I encourage you to make that phone call for yourself. It's only 15 minutes, and it can have a lasting impact.
Let our proven system help you lose 20 to 30 pounds or more in just 60 days. You can start our program in person at our Kirkland office or virtually from anywhere you live. Schedule your free phone consultation online at eastsideweightlossclinic.com. That's eastsideweightlossclinic.com.
Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Give me a freaking auto!
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
Brock Heward and Mark, sorry about just Mike.
Heward, not exactly Joe Cap there in the pocket.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Heward and Mike Salk.
All right, I was just handed this, maybe in response to G and his awful take on Cal's nickname. Tonight, there's a ticket special. $29 main level game tickets. Main level for $29. That's a good deal. Plus a t-shirt. It's all for Cal. You get the tickets at mariners.com/dumper. Mariners.com/dumper. And then I guess as part of the festivities, a couple of fans are going to be invited on the field. That's pretty cool. Yeah. That's awesome. There's going to be a whole pregame ceremony for Cal. So yeah, go to mariners.com/dumper. And you can get a $29 main level game ticket for tonight. Pretty darn cool. All right, our Mariners insider is Shannon Drayer, and she joins us now. Good morning, Shannon. How are you?
I'm well. How are you guys?
We're great. It's been fun just actually having baseball to talk about, real baseball, meaningful baseball, and debating some of the interesting things that happened last night because there were a lot of decisions made and kind of different plays that get second guessed and talked about after a baseball game, which is part of the fun. What did you think of last night?
Well, I thought it was a lot of fun. Mariners always do a great job on opening day with the production value of everything, but it's just a snapshot. It's 1 of 162. You hope they win it and they get off to a good start. And they did that. But, when I stepped away from it, there were some takeaways that I could look at it and say, okay, that perhaps does look a little different. That perhaps, if it continues, could help take things in the right direction. And some other areas where it was like, okay, you're going to have to kind of hang on there. This is going to take a little while to develop. So I think, wildly satisfying for what happened throughout with Logan Gilbert's pitching. That was just, amazing, especially considering that he got hit on the leg the way that he did.
Mm-hmm.
And then also what we saw at the end with the offense, which was just tremendous.
What did you make of Randy last night?
What I got, and I think you probably saw it, he was the person that I grabbed for the walk-off interview last night. And it was just, it's an opportunity. We don't get to talk to him that much, and we certainly don't get to talk to him in that moment very much. But what I came away with in talking to him in that moment was they really knew the situation in the eighth inning. They knew they could not let Mason Miller get up on the hill in the ninth inning. And so if they were a little bit restrained early on, I think they were letting it out in that inning. So to me, it was a lot of fun just kind of hearing that and just kind of working backwards from it and going, aha. And also, Randy being Randy. And what I love about that is, his reaction to that home run was for the team. The bat spike was to the team. Everything was to the team. And he said to me, at the moment, he just felt kind of a good anger that he had to let out. And I think everybody in that building kind of let it out along with him.
I loved it, man. G was giving me grief. He didn't think that I would have liked it. I love Randy in general. I'm sort of fascinated by him. I think he's an incredibly unique, talented player. But beyond the talents is this personality that is somewhat rare in baseball. He's not loud. He's a quiet guy, as I know you've alluded to many times. But something changes when he's in the spotlight, right? I mean, like this other side of his we talk about the Walter side of Logan. This other side, the star side of Randy, is so opposite who he is the rest of the time. It's fascinating to me.
Yeah, and he goes right back to it, too. Once the trident's put away, he's kind of stoic Randy once again. And so, it is fascinating to watch, but he picked his moment. He picked a great moment right then and there, celebrated it, and then got back out there. But it's funny because you can watch him a whole game, and you see that, and he's always stoic, and now he's back to being quiet. But he's interacting with a crowd throughout the entire game. It's like everybody has to throw him the baseball at the end of the inning because he wants to throw the baseballs into the crowd. But I think that he is able to, his focus, and he was talking about it at the end of the game. We want to be there in October. We got a long way to go. This is great, but that focus right then and there, and that perhaps was what was on his mind when he stepped up to the plate, and that is something that Dan Wilson had been enforcing throughout spring training. We're not going to kind of work our way into this. It's go. And I think there's a broad vision in that. And I really kind of felt that the whole progression of what we saw throughout the night was very interesting. And that included pregame, that included game, how the game progressed, and postgame as well. And so it just kind of, leaves you wanting for more to kind of figure out how this whole thing is going to work. One of the things that I love that I saw about this game, you hate that you saw so many runners on base, but you saw so many runners on base, and you saw them without the strikeout. They only struck out 7 times last night, and that was against Severino. And that was at the beginning of the year where the pitcher has all of the advantage. If they keep giving themselves those chances, you feel better about them pushing those runs across.
I actually thought everything you just said, and then even go back to the opening day lineup, I thought was interesting in a few ways, and maybe a little bit different from the one you and I were talking about just 2 days ago. But going with Tellez at first and going with Bliss at second, maybe a nod to, hey, some of the hard work, some of the productivity in the spring. Where did that come from?
Well, I think it was, and for the record, I had Bliss starting.
Yeah, you were right. Absolutely, yes.
And I also had Polanco higher in the lineup than you did.
Yeah. You were right.
I had Polanco, yes. Thank you. And that is an interesting point because so often you go into spring training and it doesn't matter what they do. Those decisions are pretty much already made. And it's more on the track record. And instead, yes, Bliss won that spot in spring training. And it paid off last night. And how good is it that he had so many chances at second base, and he made the routine ones, and he made a brilliant one as well. How good is he feeling? And he's not a person that lacks for confidence, but making it in that situation, okay, I'm making my debut, or, my opening day debut in the starting lineup. I've got a full house here. All eyes are on me at this new position. And, hopefully that is something that really kind of gets him on a good path there. But Tellez was probably the surprise. If you look at it, it shouldn't be, because he by far got the most reps at first base. But again, you're just it's spring training. Of course they're going to do Luke Raley over there the first day, because he's supposed to be the first baseman this year. Well, they went out and they did something else, and they adjusted on the fly and put Tellez out there. So it'll be interesting to see, how they balance that. But I said there could be a twist, and there was some twists.
Yeah, you were certainly right about all of that. What did you? The other conversation we've been having today. Poor Lyle, he is losing hair by the moment, especially after seeing the Polanco bunt with one out and first and second. I guess Jorge said he did it on his own, but what the heck was that?
Yeah, it was funny, because when it happened, I'm like, how could that be on his own if he's already showed it within that at bat? To me, I'd like, did they tell him to? And it makes zero sense with one out in that situation. And if they didn't like it, did they not yell at him, hey, what are you doing? Or was it just full blind trust? This is Polanco. He's playing with him. And then, oh, no, he's bunting again. I don't think, it's what it sounded like. It did sound like that it was on his own, and perhaps maybe there should have been some sort of, don't do that.
Did he not know the number of outs?
I don't know.
Okay.
I think, what? I think he overthought it. He was not bunting to sacrifice. He was bunting for a hit. He saw something with the third baseman. And so I'm thinking he was probably feeling a little too frisky with the knee. And it's probably like, look, Jorge, we don't need you bunting for hits.
Yeah. I don't think I need to see that again.
One of the things that I liked about it is that when Dan Wilson was asked about it, he said, we'll talk about it. And, it just wasn't punitive or anything about that. It was just like, not that it normally would be, but there seemed to be a comfort level with that. That's like, yeah, no problem. The baseball things happen, and just let's not do that again. And that conversation would happen, and it wasn't a big deal.
Do we see the same lineup tonight, or do we see Donovan Solano? Do we see Dylan Moore? Do we see Mitch Garver? That's one of these questions, right, about how much Dan wants to try to have a little bit more consistency in the lineup. Does he go with the same lineup against the lefty?
I would assume that they have a lefty lineup. And if we don't, then yes, he is going to try and go for more consistency. But the other thing that you have to take into consideration early is you've got to get everybody in early. Everybody's got to, I don't think anything is normal in your first 5 games probably, but, we'll certainly see how far he goes with the left-right matchups. And if he does try and kind of, assert or feel the need to, it's going to be better for this group in general if they do have that everyday lineup.
Yeah. By the way, Maura pointed out earlier, heck of a play by J.P. Crawford to end that game. That is not an easy play. And it gets lost with, some of the fireworks offensively and Logan's night and all that. But really, really nice play, especially given the infield defense being the concern that it is. Pretty cool to see. Shannon, it was a fun night last night. It's great just to have baseball back. Sorry for the abbreviated conversation today, but we got a lot more of them to come. I'm sure we'll speak next week. Thank you, and we'll talk then.
You got it.
All right. As always, our interviews with Shannon, our Mariners Insider, brought to you by Pacific Lamp and Supply. We'll come back with everything you need to know. And then finally, I've been waiting for this all day. We get to hear from you guys. Open phones at 9:30. Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports on 710.
When you're on the pitch clock and don't have time for your favorite Seattle sports shows, listen to the podcasts on demand.
How about that? Unbelievable. Who would have thought?
Every hour, every interview, every look behind the scenes.
Dan Wilson's the new skipper.
This is a window. This is a time where we can get it done, and that's the hope. That's the vision for this club.
Find us on seattlesports.com, the Seattle Sports app, or wherever you get podcasts.
Holy smokes!
Never miss a minute of Seattle sports, the home of the Mariners.
Meanwhile, at Xfinity.
So, influencer life going well?
Oh, yeah. I'm up to 32 followers.
Oh, that's something.
Yeah. Posting my tap dancing videos is easier than ever because we engineered Xfinity Internet with 99.99% network reliability.
Plus, Xfinity Mobile with Wi-Fi Power Boost gives you ultra-fast Wi-Fi at home and on the go. But wait, tap dancing? You don't tap dance.
Hey, what I lack in skill, I make up with passion.
Do more of what you love and love how fast you do it with Xfinity Internet and mobile. And now through April 21st, get 300 megabit Xfinity Internet and one unlimited mobile line together for $25 a month for 1 year and save $1,000 in your first year over Verizon and AT&T. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After promo, regular rate supply. Savings compared to Verizon 5G Internet plus one unlimited welcome line and AT&T Internet 300 plus one unlimited starter SL line. Xfinity Internet required. Actual speeds vary. Reduced speeds after 30 gigabits of usage per line. Data thresholds and actual savings vary.
Say, partner, what happens when you combine Truck Month with the March sales event at the West Hills Autoplex?
Oh boy, gift card with test drive, complimentary basketballs, free throw for savings, deals on trucks, Ford trucks, Chevy trucks, Ram, GMC, new trucks, used trucks, trucks and trucks and trucks and trucks.
Celebrate Truck Month and the March sales event at the West Hills Autoplex this weekend, part of the Hazelwood Auto Group.
Hazelwood has it!
Trucks and trucks and trucks.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Real Success. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at ourrealsuccess.com.
Do you want to learn how to make money flipping houses and acquiring rental properties right here in Seattle? We're offering a handful of motivated individuals the opportunity to attend our workshop right here in Seattle for free. That's right. We'll give you 2 free tickets when you text FLIP to 64,000. Seattle is the perfect market to flip houses and build rental income. Discover the simple steps developed by Joe Arias, one of real estate's greatest rags to riches stories. You'll learn to flip properties and secure rental properties without using your own money and in your spare time. Don't miss this opportunity. Come to a complimentary live 2-hour workshop next week right here in Seattle and learn how to start making money flipping homes and building long-term wealth with rental properties. To get 2 free tickets, text FLIP to 64,000. Text in the next 10 minutes and registrants will also receive a free copy of our Funding for Deals guide. Text FLIP to 64,000 for 2 complimentary tickets. Text FLIP to 64,000.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-444-2013. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-444-2013. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-444-2013. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds, too. Call 800-444-2013. 800-444-2013.
Headed outdoors or on the water this weekend? Check in with Joey and Nellie on the Outdoor Line from 6 to 8 a.m. every Saturday on seattlesports.com.
Old windows cost you money and security. Lake Washington Windows and Doors installs energy-efficient, high-security windows that lower your bills and increase protection. With leak armor installation and lifetime warranties, you're protected for life. Choose LakeWashingtonWindows.com today.
Through March 31st, save double your sales tax from Lake Washington Windows and Doors. Plus, enjoy easy 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest, same as cash 12-month financing. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com to save double today.
Making fresh produce and food affordable and accessible to all is a mission Safeway is deeply committed to. G. Scott here. Your local Safeway has all the great benefits that SNAP-eligible families love, plus exclusive savings. Right now, save 50% on Fresh Pass memberships, plus get a monthly $5 credit, free unlimited delivery, $10 of free produce, and double rewards. Check out your Safeway For You app for all details and savings, or visit Safeway.com/SNAP for details.
Get ready for an unforgettable adventure at LeMay, America's Car Museum in Tacoma. Marvel at over 300 world-class automobiles and 100 years of history. Don't miss the Shinka exhibit, featuring nearly 50 iconic Japanese sports cars. Feel the thrill of driving a Formula One car on the exhilarating race simulators. There's fun for everyone, so grab your friends or the whole family and plan your visit Thursday to Monday. Learn more at americascarmuseum.org.
When an 18-wheeler ran a red light and took the life of a Tacoma man in 2021, his family trusted Davis Law Group to fight for them. And we recovered a $3.5 million settlement and held the trucking company accountable for his death. Accident victims have trusted Davis Law Group to win their case for the past 30 years. and hundreds of 5-star reviews from real clients are proof that we've earned that trust. Call Davis Law Group today for a free consultation or get my free book on trucking accident law at washingtonaccidentbooks.com.
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Yeah, really cool night at T-Mobile last night as the Mariners win their opener. Feels like they were really, really, really good, at least in my 16 years here, on opening day, and yesterday was no exception. Logan Gilbert he was phenomenal. He really was. 7 innings, only allows the 1 solo home run on 2 hits, no walks, struck out 8. He was ridiculous, and yeah, there was a little extra juice for him.
Yeah, before the game, I mean, the fans were going crazy and everything. I was a little amped up, and even warming up, a couple balls were kind of going up just because I was pretty amped up before the game. So I talked to Cal, really make sure we were getting the hand out front, aiming low, and that kind of stuff, and staying on it, and felt like we made a pretty good adjustment throughout the game.
Yeah, he did all of those things and a lot more. Unfortunately, Trent Thornton did give up a run, a loud solo shot, and Andres Munoz closed it down. As for the offense, some good, some bad, right? I mean, 7 walks, that's exactly what you want. 7 strikeouts is much more in the range of, I think, what they're looking for, but a lot of guys left on base, difficulty kind of putting a rally together. Thankfully, in the 8th, and Randy Arozarena took matters into his own hands.
Again, the 0-2 on the way to Randy. Swinging a well-hit ball deep to left field. This game is tied. Goodbye, baseball, off the facing of the upper deck and in the upper deck in left field, and that was a bullet to left. Randy Arozarena with his first home run of the season, and this game is tied at 2. Holy smokes, what a shot by Randy.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite moments. That's what I'll remember, just for all of the celebration and just the release of energy and what it did for the ballpark, the fandom, etc. I like Randy, man. Randy is a spark plug. He is a different kind of player, different kind of personality, and there will be moments where it doesn't play well and where he doesn't play well. I know that's true, but I also think it's worth it for what he brings style-wise, what he brings energy-wise, what he brings edge-wise, and I think he really woke that team up last night with that home run and the celebration and everything that ensued. I'm a big fan of it. I really am, and I think a Randy Arozarena having a great year would go a long, long way towards this team being what we hope they could be. Game 2 tonight, Luis Castillo against the lefty, Jeffrey Springs, and we'll see what that lineup looks like with the lefty on the hill.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
It was also a great just opening day festivities, everything that went with it. The gal from the Make-A-Wish Foundation was awesome. That was really fun. Well, she was 9 years old, running the bases with great confidence, stopping at each base to celebrate, point at the crowd, etc., soaking in her moment, and then love to see the guys come out and greet her. Julio, JP, Bryce Miller all were there at home plate for her. Huge ovations for Cal Raleigh, who deserved every second of it, platinum glove and all of that, but even more so, I think just the love for him staying and signing that contract, and just a big thank you from the 40,000 or so that were there last night. And then, of course, Ichiro, there's nobody like him, and there's very few people his age that would come in and throw an 84-mile-an-hour strike for the ceremonial first pitch. It was awesome. It really was. Indicative of his Star Wars throw. Maybe not quite, but similar. Head in the Heart doing the national anthem. Good, a little long, like they could speed it up a little bit, but God, they sounded really good, great harmony and all of that. Elsewhere, Astros beat the Mets, Rangers fall to the Red Sox, Angels, yeah, man, they lose 9-1 to the White Sox with Yusei Kikuchi on the mound. Ugh, that is not something you want to see.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
Kraken did their job last night. They were sick and tired of losing to Edmonton game in, game out, and they finally decided to just start scoring some goals, 5 of them in the second period.
Caught goal, short side, held by Pickard. Benier scores! Oh, when it rains, it pours. And we love that in Seattle. 4-0.
Kraken.
Yeah, they ended up scoring 5 in the second inning. It's definitely baseball season. Second period, and won 6-1. So a nice win for them. And in the NBA, they had the Board of Governors meeting. So, of course, all eyes in Seattle, wondering whether or not this is going to lead to expansion sooner rather than later. Here is Adam Silver.
We want to make sure we put teams in a position, particularly as we're setting the price, to be in a position to be competitive, economically successful, and just as importantly for the other teams, successful on the floor. And the issue I would not have anticipated at the time I sort of began talking about the timeline is how much unknown there is about local media right now. You know, having said that, though, I would just say again to our many fans in Seattle, and I hear from them often, and you know, the legacy of the Sonics is still very strong, and it's a fantastic basketball market, is that we are very focused on it. The fact I think that I'm not being more sort of forthcoming publicly doesn't mean we're not studying it very intensively. We don't take those fans for granted.
All right, there you go. That is Adam Silver and the latest on possible expansion, and that is everything you need to know. It's funny I said inning instead of period because actually I really do have hockey on my mind. I'm leaving as soon as the show ends to head up to Richmond, BC. Cecily's already up there playing in game 1 of this huge all-girls tournament. It's pretty cool. I haven't been to this before. I'm excited to get up there and see it. They have, I think it's like the largest all-girls hockey tournament in North America. And it's 6 rinks that they all have together in one building in Richmond. And there are girls teams from 8U all the way up to 18U. So I'm just psyched to get up and see that and be a part of it and kind of watch them. This is she's 10U, so this is their first ever full ice game is being played right now as we speak. So I'm missing it. I'm bummed about it. Obviously, I wasn't going to not be here for opening day or for the show right after opening day. Work, you know, there are times where work's got to come first, even above something awesome for family. And obviously, you know, I'll be there this afternoon and there'll be 3 or 4 more games after that. So I'll still get to see most of it, but just so you know, I have one eye on my texts from my wife. It's 0-0 after the first period, which for them playing in this league is going to be a pretty good win. So just going scoreless through 1 is a nice victory for the junior Kraken Navy team. So if I'm distracted, just a little apology. I'm going to rely on you guys to cover me and carry the show for the last half hour.
Lyle, Maura, talk to the callers.
Yeah, I'll just bail now and see if I can text with my wife, watch on video. No, 866-979-3776, 866-979-3776. If you could just do me a favor and fill up these phone lines for me so we can have a fun conversation for the last 25 minutes. What'd you think? What'd you think of last night? What'd you think of the vibe? What'd you think of seeing this roster actually out on the field and what it looked like compared to maybe how you felt during the offseason? How did you feel about the offensive philosophy and the bunting and the aggressiveness? How did you feel about Randy and Logan and Cal and everything else that's happened here, and Cal's big signing as well, right? I mean, all of these things happened just in the last week. So whatever's on your mind, 866-979-3776. I bring up all that baseball stuff. Certainly, if you want to talk football or anything else, as it's whatever's on your mind. It's open phone lines. That's the whole idea. So you guys get to control the end of the show. We'll turn it over to you next. 866-979-3776. Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
For Down Territory, going inside the game with former Cougs and Seahawks wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
The NFL's trying to clean up the game. What do they want to emphasize, and how do you feel about it?
The NFL wants to bring in more sportsmanship. And I understand they're saying, look, we want kids watching the game to learn from these guys. And listen, it is a good idea. But the ball player in me says, man, forget all that noise. This is football.
For Down Territory, every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bump and Stacy.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Whatever you love, find it on eBay. eBay. Things people love.
SpringFest savings start now at Lowe's, so don't miss out. Get up to 40% off select major appliances. Plus, save an additional $100 on every $1,000 you spend on select major appliances. And save up to $10 on select lawn care products. Shop these can't-miss spring deals now. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 4/2. Selection varies by location while supplies last. See Lowe's.com for more details and qualifying items.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
What makes you so different than the rest of us?
We ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Tell me more.
Our investment counselors focus on service over sales, prioritizing clients' needs.
How do you make money?
We don't sell any commission-based products. We have a simple management fee based on the value of our client's portfolio. So we do better when our clients do better.
What about client portfolios?
We get to know each client, their finances, family, health, lifestyle, and more, and then we tailor a portfolio based on their specific goals and needs.
Your clients really come first then, huh?
Yes, we make them a top priority. Our goal is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Wow, maybe we are different.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
These days, figuring out what, where, and how to watch TV is out of control. And so is the cost. That's why I'm psyched I found Philo. Live TV from A&E, Discovery, MTV, and all the channels I love. A huge library of movies and shows. And an unlimited DVR to save them. I also get AMC Plus and all their blockbuster hits. All this for just $28 a month when you sign up at philo.tv. Give it a try, risk-free at philo.tv.
Welcome to Staples.
I hear Staples prints it all for any business.
You bet, and we'll beat any print quote.
So if I had a pizza place...
Staples can print signs, menus, pizza boxes.
A landscaping business?
Oh, we can print yard signs, t-shirts, brochures.
How about a pizza/landscaping business? I'll call it Dough and Mo.
I like it.
Right now at Staples, get up to $250 off your print purchase. Ends 4/5, exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for offer details. Price match guarantee valid in store and staples.com/print. Visit staples.com/price match for details.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
4 down territory, going inside the game with Michael Bumpus.
I like this. More quarterbacks should start doing this.
Every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bump and Stacy.
From whiplash to herniated discs, there are a few car accident injuries we've all heard of. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains that even the most common injuries differ from one another.
Pre-existing conditions, health history, beginning of treatment. There are hundreds of factors that make every person and every injury unique. While these variables aid medical treatment, the strongest case recoveries must also take them into account.
Could you explain a little bit more?
Our team at Pendergast Law is obsessed with turning over every stone to differentiate each case. This requires thorough investigation, diligent listening, and relentless research. We never pursue cases with a one-size-fits-all approach. We built our success by treating every injury and every case with the individualized attention our clients need and deserve.
Pendergast Law's individualized approach to even the most common injuries makes the difference in case outcomes. It's another reason why I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
Hey guys, did you know that half of men over age 50 have erectile dysfunction on some level? Whether you have mild, moderate, or severe ED, West Coast Men's Health can help. We don't prescribe pills and hope they work. Instead, we treat the root cause of the problem with acoustic wave therapy, which breaks down plaque, unclogs arteries, and restores blood flow. We have treated thousands of men across our 11 locations nationwide and have established ourselves as a leader in the industry. So whether you have ED, Peyronie's disease, or suffer from chronic pain, such as neuropathy, carpal tunnel, or Dupuytren's contracture, West Coast Men's Health can help. No pills, no shots, no surgery, just results.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call West Coast Men's Health at 206-519-6541 That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
All right, we're going to wrap things up today, as always, on a Friday, a little fella Friday, with some of your phone calls, 866-979-3776. I'm looking at the board here. Am I crazy, or is there an open phone line or two? Come on, guys.
Someone dropped right before we went
Come on. The Mariners played last night. You're telling me only 4 people in the entire audience have something to say about what you saw? Stop. I don't believe that's true. I just don't believe it. That can't be a real thing. 866-979-3776. We'll talk to the people who actually want to be here, starting with Zach in Puyallup. Good morning, Zach. What's going on?
What's going on? Happy Friday. What a great opening day for the Mariners. Ichiro coming out, throwing an 84-mile-an-hour first pitch. And then we got Polanco in the lineup, hitting 3 dingers, 1 bye-bye. Just what an amazing comeback for Polanco. I'm so happy to see that for him. Such a stand-up guy with the way he plays the game. And then Randy coming in, hitting a bomb to put it up. I mean, everything that we bliss coming around on a bunt. That one goes behind the catcher to get that energy going. I'll take the out at home to get the runner to first. And then Robles coming up, hitting this outfield pop fly to run it. Bring in that sac fly. I mean, what an amazing start to game one. Very optimistic, and I am so excited.
Were you optimistic before yesterday?
I was.
Oh, okay, good. So yesterday confirmed of a lot of what Zach was hoping to see. I don't know if it was 3 dingers for Jorge, but we'll give him credit for 1 dinger and two more hits, which was nice. Yeah, look, I mean, there was a lot, especially in the late innings, of what would give you some optimism with the Mariners. There was also, some of the same issues that they've had in the past, getting to the pitching early. But look, opening day, you're facing the best pitcher. That's how it goes. Right, you're going to face everybody's ace on opening day. That's part of what makes it such a fun day around baseball. Let me go to Noah in Issaquah. Good morning, Noah. What's going on?
Good morning. God, what a day. I mean, honestly, the biggest takeaway I had from the game, other than just, all the great energy in the park, was, I think, Randy Arozarena, probably the most unsung player that we're talking about on the Mariners right now. Even though we give him his flowers, I still think there's more to talk about with him. I mean, he's a 20-20 guy, possibly maybe even a 30-30 guy if he's playing at his peak. And I think just him complimenting Julio in that lineup, I think it goes a long way if he's actually cooking on all cylinders.
Well, I agree with that 100%. In fact, I said that just a couple of days ago as we were talking through, these top 10 most intriguing Mariners. I had Randy at number 2 on my list for a bunch of different reasons. Some of it is exactly what you just said, just his underrated skill set. Guys, you got to go back and remember. You got to go back. I know it's a few years ago now, and I don't expect him to be the exact same player that he was for that week, but you got to go back and remember that series. What year was that? 20 or 21? Whatever year it was that the Dodgers played the Rays. That has to have been 20, right? Because that was the COVID year?
It was 2020. It was in Texas.
It was in Texas. Randy Arozarena was the best player on the field during that World Series, right? And it was like him against the Dodgers. He's running around and coming up with big hits. They couldn't get him out. Are you pulling up his numbers from that World Series?
Yeah, I want to remember, but I want to remember the World Series, but that postseason specifically.
He was unbelievable.
I think he hit 12 home runs in that postseason. Let's see if I get that right.
He was awesome. It was just such a cool thing to see this guy who I don't think people knew that much about, right? He was sort of like a random outfielder who had been in St. Louis and then gone to Tampa. So it's not like he was a big household name or anything like that. But he just took over. And it's not just that he's a good player. He is, but he plays the game differently. He plays the game with more energy, passion, speed, hustle. Like, he just has a lot of those things that you can't help but notice and be energized by. It's why I like him so much.
So that postseason specifically, he had 10 homers. I was a little bit off.
That's a lot.
That's a lot in 3 series because there was no wild card round.
Right.
And then, I'm sorry. There was, but he didn't hit any homers in that series. Anyway, point being, 1371 OPS in the ALDS, 1152 OPS in the ALCS, and then a 1234 OPS in the World Series.
Jeez. I mean, I don't need him to do that for a full season, but you get a Randy Arozarena who can get on base, hit for power, right? Run around, and then energize his team, his fans, all of it. Unique player, man. There aren't that many guys like him in Major League Baseball. 866-979-3776. Chris been hanging on in Denver. What's going on, Chris?
What's up, Mike? How are you?
I'm so good. I'm awesome.
Yeah, good, man. Well, we got like 70-degree weather in Denver. Missed my Mariners and stuff. But, man, I wanted to talk about the walks last night and the strikeouts. So I think, if I heard right, I think we had 7 base runners over the first 6 innings or something. I think we had 7 walks, 7 strikeouts.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. This might be a question for Lyle, but what a good walk to strikeout ratio is for a team. But that's a hell of a lot better than we had last year. I think we were averaging 10 strikeouts per game at least. So the approach is obviously better and different.
Well, if you could go 1-to-1 for a season, you'd be pretty happy, I would say, right? A 1-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio would be insane.
Yeah, exactly, which probably won't live it up to that. But, dude, Polo had a nice play at third. Bliss brought the energy. I thought we tried not to rely on the long ball. I kind of liked the bunt, obviously. I know people will hate me on that.
Which
but,
one? Wait. Which one? Which one? The Polanco bunt or the Robles bunt?
The Robles bunt I really liked, actually, because it ultimately put some pressure on him. I didn't hate the Polo bunt, but the fact that he didn't have that called, I definitely kind of changed my tune on that a little bit.
Dude, there's one out. I'm sorry. Look, I'm with you on all this. I am not going to get angry about every bunt all year like Lyle is. I see both sides of the Robles bunt. I like the aggressiveness did end up putting them in a position to score the tying run, which they needed. I'm sorry. I can't defend a one-out man on first and second, but I can't do that. I just can't. I can't defend that. That, to me, is a pretty indefensible bunt. You should not be bunting first and second with 1 out. That's just not a thing. No, I can't defend that. I'm sorry. And I don't think anybody should. That's just a bad play. Move on. We don't have to talk about it forever. Hopefully a learning moment, like Dan said after the game. But I can't really come up with any baseball situation short of having your pitcher hitting that you would want to be bunting with first and second and 1 out. I just can't come up with it.
Yeah, nowadays in baseball, the only way a pitcher hits is if you have some crazy thing, the way Luis Castillo had to hit last year.
I mean, unless there's some weird thing like that, there's no reason to do that. That should not be a thing. All right, 866-979-3776. Let me go to Russell in Spokane. What's up, Russ?
Hey, good morning, Mike. I really appreciate how good of a father you are, and I listen to you every day, and I hope Sicily has a good tournament.
Thank you very much. I'm getting updates. If you're interested, they're down 1-0 in the third period, but Cecily had a nice shot. So that's what I've got in terms of updates right now.
Awesome. So my question for you is, have you ever watched a game in the J-Rod squad?
Well, G will tell you I won't watch a game anywhere other than a suite, the Diamond Club, or the best tickets in the house. No, I actually haven't. How is it?
It's amazing. Rodriguez, he's throughout the whole game, he's interacting with the whole crowd. You should take your whole family there and sit in the front. You'll get a front row of Julio's personality on the field.
So what does that look like when you say interacting with the J-Rod squad? What does that mean? What is he doing?
So, I was in the front row, and there was a bunch of kids, and it was kid's birthday party, and she had to sign up, and it was in the third inning, I think. He came and gave her a ball and said happy birthday. He's got a million things going on in his head. So and he would go to different sections and throw him a ball and wave at him, and it was really interactive, and it was incredible. And I've also sat in the Diamond Club seats right behind home plate, and I enjoyed sitting behind Julio more.
Interesting. Wow. Well, that's a great, that's awesome to hear. I didn't know that. Again, I mean, it makes sense. I know we've talked before. Thanks for the phone call. We've talked before about how Julio seems to care and think about the fans as much as anybody during a game. I can't really come up with too many other players that tend to look directly to the fans after they make a nice play. usually it's more of what you saw from Randy last night, right? Where he immediately looked to his dugout, to his buddies, his peers, his teammates. Julio does have this cool back and forth with the fans, and I like to hear that. I haven't sat out there, but you made a pretty good case for it. All right, 866-979-3776. Go to Sean in Kent. What's up, Sean? Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Mike. Yesterday, you could feel the excitement in the stadium. As frustrated as I am still about this offseason, you could tell that something felt different in that stadium. And, yeah, when Randy hit that tie-up homer, it was loud as could be. And one thing that I noticed that I was really worried about after listening to some shows yesterday was the infield defense was a big concern because no one in those roles is really set in stone and amazing. But you could tell, dude, Ryan Bliss at second, he had it down. He did good in his first game, and just getting over that first game at second nerves, I don't even know if he had any. But
well, I don't know. I mean, look, he's played second base. He was up last year playing second, and I appreciate the call, appreciate the optimism, appreciate the energy stuff. I think those are all really great points. I'm not ready to declare the defense just fine because they made it through 9 innings without making a problem. Like that's not that would be the definition of a small sample size. Let's see how Jorge looks at third over time. Let's see what Ryan looks like at second over time. I think they are going to have some issues in the infield. I think there's a good reason why Tellez is playing first and not Luke Raley. I think that's a good change that they made on the fly. And as we've said before, if it is a problem and Ben Williamson can be even okay hitting at AAA in the Pacific League, I think you'll see him sooner rather than later. But for a day, it was great. It was not a problem yesterday, and that's definitely good news. Let me go to Rick in Bothell. Good morning, Rick.
Morning, Mike. Long-time listener, first-time caller.
Awesome.
At the game last night, it was great, but the fan etiquette in the stadiums is deplorable. You do not get up when a batter is at the plate. You do not come down the stairs to get to your seat when the batter is at the plate. So many major plays were missed by the fans around me because of people not getting it. And you would think that it would be the younger generation. It was more the older fans that were doing it.
Here's the one thing I would say. Hold on. Let me be fair to the fans. Hold on. I appreciate the thought. And I love a good etiquette conversation. The one thing I would say is it's opening day. I think you gotta have a little grace on opening day, that not everyone at the ballpark is a huge baseball fan the way you're going to get throughout the season. You got to allow for some casuals to be there on opening day.
All right, I'll give you that. I'll give you that. I've only been watching for 5 years, but I get it. So I mean, it's like, come on, have some etiquette.
You've only been watching baseball for 5 years?
Yep.
So how did that? Like, you can't, well, I don't know how old you are, but like you just all of a sudden later in life decided to start watching baseball? I love that. Tell me that story.
So the gal that I was dating and ended up marrying, her son was big into baseball, and I fully committed 100%, and I'm a diehard Mariners fan through and through from that day forward, and have been to many, many games. Cool. And was always been a goal since then to get to opening day. That's
awesome, man. What a cool story. I feel like I never hear stories like that. So that is that's cool. Thanks, Rick. Appreciate the phone call. Have you ever heard a story like somebody gets into baseball late like that? Like from 0 to 60? I mean, I'm sure it's happened. I don't mean to say like it's never happened in the history of the world, but usually baseball fans are built really early in life. And because so much of the game is, generational and family, familial, that's cool. I like that story. All right, 866-979-3776. Let me go to, who's been hanging on? Thomas in Seattle. What's up, Thomas? Good morning.
Awesome. Good morning. First-time caller. What I'd like to talk about is the Randy Arozarena deal that you keep talking about. I remember him in the WBC when he was such an electric player, and I feel like that happened right after the Tampa Bay series that you guys were just talking about. And that guy is going to be special for the team. Also, second point, pay Logan Gilbert. That guy is a G. And then third point, Julio is going to be the focal point. That's all I wanted to say. Love your work. love all the things. Let's go, Seattle
That's
Mariners.
awesome. Thanks, Thomas. Really appreciate the phone call. Yeah, that Randy thing, man, I was fired up when he threw that bat down. I was at home. I went home early. I'm not because I was disgusted or anything, but just because I got to wake up and I have my daughter with me and all that. So we left early to get home to see the end of the game. I wanted to be able to watch it at home so that I had a better. It's really hard when you're at the game, with people as I was last night, kind of to focus on each part of it. So I wanted to see the end at home. I prefer to watch games on TV and really get a sense as to what's going on. And I was fired up. How could you not be when you see that kind of emotion? Man, absolutely. I don't know if you can sustain that for 162 games every, day in, day out, every game. That's really hard to do. But I loved it. I love that attitude from Randy, and I do think it helps fire up the team. I really do. Let's see. Let's go to Luke in Seattle. What's up, Luke?
Hey, thanks for taking my call. Listen, I know it's early, but I'm at the game last night, and sitting there for 7 innings, I feel like, obviously, because we didn't really get any more bats, it's like, oh, this is just the same offense I've always seen. You guys mentioned it earlier in the week, piggybacking off of Cal's extension. Obviously, you can't extend everyone. My question for you is, if this is the same offense that we've seen the last few years, do they say, hey, maybe we're not going to be able to get a deal done with a guy like Kirby, and maybe make that big swing move and try to flip him? And I don't know what the market's like at that point of the year, but there's going to be
I don't think so. Luke, I don't think they will do that. I really don't. I like the call, and I do think that adding a bat at the deadline or before, if the offense isn't great, or even if it is great, will be something they want to do. But I think that unlike the offseason, where if they wanted to add some sort of a big bat with very few sellers, they would have needed to, you're right, trade one of their top pitchers. By the time you get to the trade deadline, there should be teams that are out, that have players available, and you've got so many prospects. You shouldn't need to trade anything off your big league roster if you're really in go-for-it mode. You just have so many prospects. And yeah, a lot of people pointing out that the Cal Raleigh extension does make Harry Ford even more expendable. It does. Although I always have felt like they want to trade Harry Ford anyway. Either way, I think you've got enough in terms of prospect capital that you shouldn't need to worry about trading any of the pitching that's already on this major league roster at the deadline. I would hope not. 866-979-3776. Who's been hanging on the longest? Jim in Spokane. What's up, Jim? Good morning.
Love your show. I got to tell you, I work construction. I go to work every morning at 6 a.m., and I turn on the radio, and it makes my day. It's just awesome. Well, you were mentioning yesterday.
Jim, let me just tell you, you saying something like that makes my day. So I really appreciate it. Thank you for saying so. That's really nice of you.
Yeah. But you guys were talking about like the top 3, top 5 things that you're looking forward to this year. And man, I cannot agree with you more when you talk about opening day is the best day of the year. Absolutely. We put on the calendar every year the first time we throw a baseball to each other, my kids growing up and everything, and they're moved out now except my daughter. And it's usually around February 15th. We're like, okay, we can go in the backyard, throw the ball, yes, and we put it on the calendar. But opening day is hands down the best, greatest day of the year. But you were saying like how it brings community together. So I am at the gas station this morning, and I see this guy pull up in this car, and he's got a Mariner hat, old Trident hat on. And I'm like, I got to wait, and I got to talk to this guy because he's obviously a fan. And I'm like, what'd you think of the game last night? He's like, oh, my gosh, that was – I was like halfway through. I was like, okay, here we go again. Bats aren't coming alive. But you got to believe. You got to just hang in there. Something's going to happen. And it was so awesome. I thought about you guys because I'm like, I could not agree more.
Oh, well, Jim, you know what I love? Thank you. Thanks for the phone call. I just want to try to get to 1 or 2 more before we're out of time here. But yeah, I mean, Jim talking to a complete stranger, that's what sports should be about. I mean, honestly, and we used to talk more about this as we were, discussing bringing in a hockey team and building an arena and all of that. Sports and community, talking to strangers. Man, just because you see somebody's got a Mariner hat on and then you get into a discussion about the game last night, that's awesome. And I do think baseball is as good for that as any other sport. Maybe better. That, to me, is always one of the great parts of this game. Let me see if I can grab 1 or 2 more. 866-979-3776. Michael is in Yakima this morning. Good morning, Michael.
Good morning. I just
wanted to say I love seeing a Mariners day or opening day Mariners win. Been a fan my entire 27 years of my life, so it's nice to see that. But with being a fan my whole life, I know how Mariners seasons go, and I can't help but feel bad for Logan Gilbert after last night. Absolutely dealing, and we're not able to get him a win, and that kind of seems to be the Mariners' entire season for an incredible pitching staff, and it goes back to even Felix. It feels like we kind of wasted his career. He had, I want to say, 200 games of one run losses or no decisions, and I can't help but think these pitchers may not want to re-sign with Seattle if
hey, Michael, I appreciate the thought. Let me jump in there. I understand the point. If they lost the game, I think you can kind of have that conversation. I don't think the modern pitcher cares nearly as much about the W and L at the end of a game as they used to. They're just not judged that way anymore. I mean, the world has just kind of moved on. I do think that wins is a good stat. I think it does still show you over the course of a year, how deep you're getting into games. Like, there are things you can do to improve your chances to get wins. But I think at this point, that ship has sailed, man. People know that pitchers don't hit, that the best pitchers don't always end up with the most wins. Logan was dominant last night. That's all you needed him to be. He was phenomenal. He's going to get all the kudos. Everybody knows it. The actual win, I don't know. The team got the win, and Logan was instrumental in it. That's all I really need to see from him, and I'm going to guess that's all he really cares about, too. Don't know, but that would be my guess. You want to try to grab one more? Let me get one more. Josh and Bonnie Lake. Josh, you'll get the last word here. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Mike. I wanted to do a quick shout-out to our broadcast crew and our announcers. With losing Dave Sims this offseason to New York, there was a pretty big shoe to fill there. And just wanted to shout out Goldie and Ryan Rowland-Smith and Rick Riz and Gary Hill on the radio. It was, they took it in stride. I think they did a great job, and looking forward to the season.
Yeah, absolutely. Certainly a good day to give some credit and kudos to them as well. Thank you for the phone call, and I'll thank everybody who jumped on today. It is a fun day. Look, one game is not predictive of anything, of course not, but it's fun to see this team in action. It's all we have to go on as of this morning, and it's more fun to be, optimistic than pessimistic on a Friday morning heading into the weekend. So thanks for all the phone calls. It was a good night last night, and I hope they're able to have a good weekend series out of it as well. I got to get out of here. If you see me driving up to Richmond, wave and say hi. Psyched to watch. They lost, unfortunately. They pulled the goalie at the end. They lost 2-0. I don't think Cecily was on the ice for either goal, though. So I don't know. Well, I have to see what it looks like this weekend. Her plus-minus is still 0. Monday morning, we're going to have a ton of baseball conversation to have. Tuesday, Passon's back. Wednesday, Daniel Jeremiah's back. Stick around for Bump and Stacy and their thoughts on last night. They're coming up next. We'll catch you guys at 6 a.m. Monday morning. Have a great weekend, and the hay is in the barn. See you, everybody.
Get to the chopper! Seattle Sports, your home for Bump and Stacy. Weekdays 10 to 2.
Catcher Cal Raleigh and the Seattle Mariners are finalizing a 6-year, $105 million contract extension.
I love it. Take care of the dumper, man. He is the captain of this team, and I'm excited for them, man, because he's one of those guys that when you think about this era of the Mariners, he's one of the first names that's going to pop into your head. I'm just happy for Cal. I'm happy for the Mariners. They did the right thing.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Everyone wants to get the best deal they can when they buy a car. But what about when you want to sell your car? Of course, you want to get the most money possible. But how do you get the most you can without trying to sell it yourself? Well, that's where my friends at Wayscar Ford in Auburn step in. Not only will they buy your car today, but that's just the beginning. Once they resell your old car, they send you another check for 50% of the profit of the sale of your old car. They've already given back over $750,000 to their customers. Mark, GM of Wayscar Ford, joins me, and it's such a great offer. But to clear up any confusion, is this like a consignment, and how can you offer this?
It's not a consignment, Stacy. A consignment, the dealer that's trying to sell your car hasn't paid you yet. We pay you right up front. No more insurance, no more maintenance. All that's gone. After that's done, we pay half the profit. It's that simple. There's no magic to this. All the money we're saving by not buying at auctions, the shipping fees and the travel, we're giving it back to you. That's how it works.
So get the most money possible at Wayscar Ford Isuzu in Auburn and let them do the work.
These days, figuring out what, where, and how to watch TV is out of control. And so is the cost. That's why I'm psyched I found Philo. Live TV from A&E, Discovery, MTV, and all the channels I love. A huge library of movies and shows, and an unlimited DVR to save them. I also get AMC Plus and all their blockbuster hits. All this for just $28 a month when you sign up at philo.tv. Give it a try, risk-free at philo.tv.
For more than 75 years, University of Maryland Global Campus has given you the opportunity to build your next success. Choose from more than 135 degree and certificate programs in career-relevant fields like business, healthcare, data analytics, cybersecurity, and more. Plus, we offer 100% online and hybrid courses, personalized advising, and lifetime career services. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. 2 lines of unlimited for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings compared to Verizon and AT&T. But don't just take our word for it.
It's not just the savings that are great with our T-Mobile plan. There's all this value from all these other things that T-Mobile offers.
T-Mobile has been such a savings for us.
We love it.
Switch today and get 2 free 5G phones like the Motorola Edge with Turbo Power charging that gives you power for the day in just 15 minutes. And customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Go to T-Mobile.com/choice55 to learn more. With AutoPay plus taxes and fees, plus $5 per line without AutoPay. Debit or bank account required. 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. Motorola Edge on us with 24 monthly bill credits and new line for well-qualified customers, plus tax and $35 per line connection charge. See details at T-Mobile.com. Motorola Edge requires 68-watt charger. Charger sold separately. Actual performance will vary based on usage and configuration.
Are you looking at diversification and stability with your investment portfolio, especially with the volatility right now in the stock market? Hi, I'm Scott Riereka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital based in Bellevue. We've been running local real estate investment funds for over 18 years. We've had 0 investor losses and have averaged double-digit returns since inception. Maybe it's time to take a little risk off the table given market conditions. For stability, there's no better option than Legacy Group's Northwest Fund, a fixed return of 9%. Legacy's Northwest Fund also accepts IRA accounts as well. Find out why over 1,000 local investors have invested over $250 million in our Legacy family of funds. Get in touch with us today. Legacy's Northwest Fund returning 9% has limited opening for new investors right now.
Call 425-635-4700 or visit legacyg.com. That's legacyg.com. This is not investment advice. Legacy investments available to accredited investors only. Details at legacyg.com.
1-877 Cards for Kids. KARS Cards for Kids. 1-877 Cards for Kids. Donate your card today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate your car today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car, running or not, can be picked up as soon as the next day. You'll get a maximum tax deduction and a vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.